What? Are we live? Hi. Oh, hi. I was just writing your name with a little heart on it.
That's not how you spell that.
It's Emmy. How can I make mistakes with that?
Well, quite simply, you've put a Q in there. Hello, Mr. Losh.
Hi.
I was looking for you.
Yeah.
I had to go past so many people that weren't you.
That weren't important at all, as you pointed out.
None of them.
Wow.
What do they even do?
I don't know.
You know what they always say? The crew does nothing.
It's very pro-worker of you there. Very good to hear. But hey, welcome to the show. We're going to have a lot of fun today because we got 3 best of 3s to cover. I'm going to be casting, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's probably the coolest thing. And we've just thrown it out there.
I don't know if I call it coolest thing. You know what's coolest is that I get to cast with you. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, cool stuff, a lot of them happened yesterday. I want to go through things one by one. First of all, here's our games for today. I said 3 best of 3s. Actually, quite simple because if you lose today, you're pretty much donezo, right? Like, if you're in the lower side of that bracket, it's done. GK, Liquid will play one another. FearX and G2 will play, but that is a survival game, right? Then Bleed, SSG will play for kind of that upper side of the bracket. And then Cyclops will play Cruelty to see who gets eliminated from the tournament. Of course, you play in upper and lower and make it only to the top 4 out of the 8 will actually get to playoffs, which is technically the real beginning of the major, if we're being honest, where the top teams from each region will be represented there. These are the regions and the teams that you've kind of watched throughout the stages in different regions, be it in Brazil, in North America, or in Europe, where you cast, Annie.
That is true. That is a place that I cast, and that is a place where you will cast today, as we were going to be covering at least the first game, the exciting one that brings us all. But let's be honest, the danger that comes through from the end of this is 4 of these teams, they're gone. They're donezo. They're out of here. They're booked. Bye-bye. Get on the plane.
Maybe it's NA on it, but that'll have to be, 2 games to lose to get to it because you have 2 lives here. And since SG did not lose yesterday, that kind of gives them an extra set for today. So let's take a look at, though, what happened yesterday specifically, because if we were to, give it buzzwords, that's something that people like, right? The moment, the monster is, and the must-see. Look at it.
Whoa.
The moment, the monster, and the must-see. So if we go through them one by one, the big moment of yesterday, and I really want everybody to see those photos because holy hell, our photography space here is just...
They're useful.
They're really, really good at what they do. Yes, genuinely, our 3 photographers and videographers that do this are incredible. Palu with the moment, a 2v1 or 1v2 clutch on Clubhouse, if I'm not mistaken. Hell,
I wasn't casting it.
I know you were not. There it is. Take a look.
But they were.
No, that was another. Okay, there it is. That was the Uno bit where Uno clutched on Bank, and this is kind of what sent things for G2 over in map 3. However, the fact that he survived for this long, Diffuser actually planted, genuinely sending the yokai over.
Describe that. I must see.
Yeah.
You got to see it. You got to listen to it as well, because it's Tim casting and Demo very loud.
I think both of them are low on the volume today just because of how...
Tempoed. We put Tim in a hyperbolic chamber so he can recuperate, rebuild his strength.
Yeah.
That was a must-see. That was a beautiful moment. Uno. Insane, even though...
They lost.
Spoiler alert, they lost.
Yeah, but I'm sure they can make it, though. The monster on the other side, though, in the middle, as you'll see, it is Reaps from Bleed. A big victory for Bleed on the other hand, and that you got to see yourself, I mean.
This I watched, and I mean, one of the best in the world. And there's just no 2 ways about it. He proved it in the showdown yesterday. He was killing everybody. It was one of those sort of setups where if it had gone longer, even just in the second map, he would have been toeing the line of getting towards the kill record.
Wow.
It was a long first map, and he ended up about 17, 18 to 4. Some crazy number.
Wow.
Wasn't to 4. It might have been a little bit more. And then we found ourselves pushing closer and closer towards, well, what was a very expected result, a 7-2 on the second map, where he still was able to get about 10, 11 kills in just that map alone. How big will he get? How big is this monster?
Absolutely.
Terrifying.
Monster under the bed or under our table. There was a monster under our table yesterday.
He's not there.
Oh, I'm not going to check this time. I'm really afraid of monsters under my desk and my bed. Though, let's move on from this to our final piece here, the moment of it all. The must-see. There you go. We saw uno, but the big deal for today is that G2 are one loss away from being eliminated from the entire tournament. Imagine this, G2 that made it to main stage at the Invitational, the team that won SI23. They were there the whole time, and now they're barely squeezing by to make it to the major. In the first phase, they're almost out.
I mean, he sees it so much, touching his eyes there.
Absolutely.
There you see. And it's worrying. They're a lower bracket run team. They won SI from a lower bracket. They've had success in a lower bracket. You don't want to be in that position in phase 1.
No.
You don't want to be one of the teams that's battling alongside, let's be honest, you've got Cruelty on their first ever major. You've got, Fear X who are trying to rebuild. You've got GK on their second ever, third ever proper big performance with the first time they're here with a proper roster. They're the ones that are outpacing you right now, and you're G2. You held that blimmin' hammer.
To be fair, G2 did narrowly lose to Liquid yesterday on Nighthaven Labs. That was map 3 in that series, and it went to max overtime. Of course, it's ace casting, so it has to go to max overtime, right? But it was incredible to see it in that way. And, well, there's more for us to explore with G2. But let's take a look at our colleagues on the other side of this wall. We're not going to break this down here because they're already there. Oh, what happened? Demo's there, but we got an even more beautiful man out there. Sorry, Demo.
Two brothers.
Good morning.
Do we look like brothers? Brothers? I'm not sure about that one.
What about cousins?
Cousins?
You look like the people.
You're my Northern Irish cousin.
So as that works.
You're the people at a wedding that would cause trouble.
What?
That is definitely us.
No, I'm a great wedding guest. I don't.
It's British.
know what you're on about.
How's your karaoke demo?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah, good job.
What's your favourite song?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're not going to do a karaoke classic for us right
ABBA?
right now?
Fan of ABBA?
ABBA?
I don't know. Would that work? I don't know. But look, B-Stream, obviously here we are, and we're going to be covering some fun games. We've got Bleed SSG, who I personally didn't get to see cast, or I didn't get to cast him yesterday. I was dealing with, the mess that is G2, as I always am. I always am dealing with that. But look, I think B-Stream will keep us really entertained. Obviously, A-Stream as well. GK can make a bit of a run as well, which we didn't really expect.
Do you know what I love actually as well? I love that today already we're sending 4 teams home. And that might make me a horrible person, right? But it's just the drama of it all already. We've had 1 day to settle in, and there's G2 facing
And it could be
elimination.
G2, I think, for us. It could be G2, which is the scary thing. But look, like we said, you've got A-Stream over there, we've got B-Stream here. If you want to go over to A-Stream, we're going to kind of split it now. If you want to stay here with B, then stay here with us. So we're just going to go for it now. So change. And now you are on B-Stream, so welcome to B-Stream. You haven't really moved, but yeah. Look, our first game is going to be Bleed versus SSG.
Yep.
We have APAC up against North America. Both of these sides won their games. It looked okay, I think, for the most part. But yeah, it's going to be a big test, I think, a big step up for both of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a big step up in terms of the game. I think both teams yesterday, they went against, I suppose, perceived weaker opponents, but they managed to get through. They managed to get over the line. But like you say, today, they're against stronger opponents in both of these teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, SSG, former, not the roster, organization and faults.
We've got one guy,
former world champion, and then Bleed have just been causing an absolute ruckus on the international stage.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bleed obviously coming in, really, that was kind of like the rookie year, I suppose you could say, last year, wasn't it? Now this is where we need to start seeing results. It's all well and good them coming in as a team last year where there wasn't really any expectations. They're a team that's rocked up with a fish.
Yeah.
For what we were expecting. Oh, that's nice, but you can go home with the other APAC ones as well once you're finished. But no, I think they're probably the best hope APAC has had since, 2022 with the Koreans?
Yeah, I think they are. And Bliss fans look away now, but I think these are potentially the best team in APAC. I don't know.
I like Bliss as well.
Bliss might prove us wrong.
Something about Bleed. Just something about them.
What's the toilet roll about, Ashen? Ashen's got some toilet roll on his table there. I'm not I'm not so sure what that's about. And I did just want to talk about the mantras of these two teams. We'll get all technical. We'll talk about maps and strats and stats and all that stuff. But the two mantras of the team, because SSG, and you could actually describe them, and the way that you might describe them is a bit of a cult. They buy into the brotherhood of that team so much. They work out together.
It's a frat. It's a fraternity. That's what it is.
I went down to the gym this morning. I saw them all there doing their lunges and their squats and being big, manly guys. And then I seen on Twitter the Bleed guys were just watching TV to prepare for SSG. And it's a completely different story, The one thing that I love about this team as well, and obviously, again, it's about the team dynamics and all about the, the psychology of it. these guys take pressure off themselves. They tweet, they're like, oh, we're
they
expected
want the
to
big
lose.
matches. That's what they want, yeah.
We're expected to lose today. We're just the small APAC team. I remember when they beat, I can't remember which team it was. I think it was Atlanta. I think it was M80, and they were like, oh, these guys are getting paid so much more than us, and we still beat them. Like, they take the pressure on themselves. And there's Joel with his blanket, with his chips, fish and chips, with his blanket with the chips on it, fish and chips. So, you know, they
fry them up.
They just have fun, and I love it.
Yeah. Look, obviously we need to have a look and see what the kind of maps we're going to be dealing with, of course, because that's always a big thing we look at. I know that you look at that specifically with all of your statistics that you have, and already we're seeing the bans come in. Border, Oregon, Chalet, and Labs gone, which is a map that we've seen Bleed play yesterday as well, so SSG not wanting to allow Bleed to go back there. Yeah,
Bleed looked pretty good on that map. If we can move through to the map picks, we're going to see that Bleed will pick into Clubhouse, which SSG, to be fair, had a bit of a wobble on yesterday going up against Cruelty.
Still won it.
Won it, but max OT against probably, I don't know, probably one of the weaker teams in the tournament. And then actually, SSG have picked into Bank, which they love.
Yeah, they're going to run it back.
They played really well on that map yesterday. So.
Strong ban as well, I think, getting rid of the Skyscraper again. Another map that Bleed are happy to go to. We've seen that yesterday as well. And then the Deciders Cafe, which for me is always a curveball, because Cafe, you know, if you look at the 9 maps, Cafe is always the odd one out. It's just the most different to every other map you have in the pool.
I think it's just so hard to enter.
It might look Window City.
Yeah. I think Cafe is kind of cool because you can play it a lot from Windows, like you say, Windows, repels, that type of stuff. But it's also really interesting and dynamic between the way teams defend it, because some teams like the 2 middle floor sites, you know, the reading and the mining bomb site, and then I've just seen why Ashen has just said about the toilet paper. We'll come on to that. And then some teams like the top floor, some teams like the bottom floor. It's really stylistic map Cafe, and that's what I like about it.
Just let everyone know why the toilet paper is there.
Are you going to read this quote for
I'm going to censor it a little bit. I'm going to tone it down. The general gist is Ashen's going to wipe Bleed's behind, the rear end. He said,
I brought the toilet paper to wipe Bleed's ass when they shit themselves. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I love it. And then Asphius replied, he almost lost to Latam yesterday. It's a precaution.
Uh-oh.
These two teams. And this is one thing about these two teams. They will give it large. Well, we know Ashen loves it.
The North American culture is obviously into that as well.
But Bleed love it as well.
That's true. But obviously Ashen, I think, is always won. That iconic photo that we've seen of him and just going up to Troy, Canadian, just screaming at him, which is always a fun one. But look, if we look at the maps, Clubhouse coming up first. Yeah. This is obviously the map that we kind of looked at for SGG and said they should have done a lot better than what they did.
Yes. Yeah, they achieved a 3-3 split, right, on the attacks, which there's a lot of people who will tell you Clubhouse is defender-sided. I don't think either of us necessarily buy into that in terms of the storyline of it, but they achieved a 3-3 split, but they were struggling on their defenses and their attacks ultimately. With this map, they were looking very out of sync, they were looking very slow, very poor, not much teamwork in all honesty. And I think that's what probably, you know, as much as Bleed will meme and say they're watching TV, they watched that map, they knew it was coming up. And that's a big reason why they picked into it, hoping that SSG haven't had the time to fix those mistakes.
It's a scary thing, though, because if you put that down to SSG has had an off day, because in my opinion, no, it's not taking anything away from the Mexican side. Yeah. But SSG are a veteran team.
Yes.
You look at the players that they had, we're almost rebuilt Astralis, also with Iconic coming back in.
Yep.
That team should be going in there 7-2, 7-2 next game.
Yeah, it should have been.
It should
especially
be no
after
issues.
map 1 as well.
No issues. But obviously issues happen for SSG. If that's down to an off day, then I think this is a risk for Bleed, because we know how good SSG can be on this map.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the thing is you see the logic and you take these, I suppose, calculated gambles inside of matches, right? You see the logic, it makes sense to pick into a map that SSG didn't play well on yesterday. And also, you know, let's not take it away from Bleed. They feel very comfortable on this map as well. It's not just because SSG had a bad day. I think that just adds into it. Now, SSG, they're going to ban away the Blitz. You know all about Blitz bans, Demo. But one thing that surprises me, actually, is usually we see a Blitz ban against Forest. Yeah, SSG have gone into it.
Forest is the only player in the world who I give my blessing to.
Really?
On Blitz. I'm very protective of that operator. Like, I've seen Nova from Fear X on it, and I wasn't too impressed.
Yep.
And yeah, I think Forrest is, in my eyes, the only one who understands what he needs to do with that. Yeah, Monty as well, double shields.
Yeah.
When have we ever seen a double shield ban? This doesn't happen, but it just shows how strong both these operators are. I will say I think Monty's better than Blitz.
Yep.
By a long shot, because you can have the more passive nature you can kind of dive into. But yeah, a Blitz and a Monty. We're dealing now with a Clubhouse where you've got the Grim and the Ying.
That was my, and the Dokkaebi. And the Capital.
Your Thatcher as well.
And the Thatcher.
Up, you know, and then you ban Cade. And top, like Cade, this.
Yeah, so what do these bans mean? We're going to, on the merit of things, before a single round has been played, we should see an attacker-sided Clubhouse.
Yep.
Because, and the reason that we should see this, as you say, all of the, I suppose, crutch operators are open on the attack. The Yings, the Dokkaebis, the Capitals, the Deimos, the Thatcher for the easy wall opening. Basically everything. All the hard breaches. Everything should be easy. You just don't have shields to crutch on. And the defensive bans. No 2-brown, no Cade.
Hatches are going to be absolute free. So
apart from impact tricking.
But even that's been nerfed.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the radius of impact tricks have been nerfed, so that doesn't really play a factor anyway. And, you know, you look at operators like Legion, who are obviously a big name, say, had impacts, no more. So only one set of impacts, and that's coming in from the Goyo.
So we're calling it now. Just before everything's played, I'm going to call this now attacker-sided
I'll
Clubhouse.
go for a 4-2 split.
Yeah.
That's what I'll hedge my bets on. One thing, though, that you have to say about SSG is so flexible. Like Forrest, for example, is a player who just can play every single role. He is what you would define as a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
But it's strange because he was actually the best rated player for SSG, so he must have been great. He must have been great at something he was doing. But the flexibility factor for SSG is a huge statement. And everyone knows, you know, Forrest, he can play everything underneath the sun. A spawn peak already. Down goes Turd. And look, there you go. Already. There we go. There we go.
There's the mental game. I clocked it just on the top-down view on the observer. Is that they saw Ashen. Ashen was just going to the strip door. That's where he's got the spawn peak from. And he's basically, we talk about Siege, and again, we talk about strats, we talk about tactics, we talk about map bans. It's so much in the mental. Ashen, he's already got the mental advantage over Ted right now because he's spawn peaked him. Round one, he's gone, do you know what? I'm spawn peaking this guy. He's gone 5v4, and he's typed straight away. Straight away. It's what you've got to do. Few shields!
We've got a few shields in the mix. You can ban some of them, not all of the shields, but he's gone as well. Keep in mind, this is a basement. This is not a top floor attack. This is a basement. We're seeing Fuse Shield jump in for catch and just die immediately. Kill comes back in favor, though, of Bleed, but already, minute gone, you've got very little map control, and you're 2 players down.
Yeah, no, it's this has been a crazy start, I'll be honest. SSG here, what they needed to do as soon as they got the man advantage now was actually, as much as it's all got a bit exciting and we're typing to each other, get yourselves back to site, win that 4 versus 3, and just play the time from here on out. But Asfi's going to get a little bit aggressive, a little bit early. As a team kill comes in, that's as good as a kill, Asfi. Go back upstairs, carry on with the round. The question
marks. Oh, we are in for a treat, everyone, with this game. It's just the old chat. That's all we're focused on right now. And look, a team kill, like you said, is as good as a kill that Asfi was able to basically supply.
Yep.
But, I mean, it's actually looking not too bad for Bleed. They can get hatches open, like we mentioned, with very little ease. They've got the Ram still alive, so you can do a bit of that vertical action. The only issue is probably that triple wall, still fully banded it, for example. So they're really going to be limited, I think, just with a kitchen drop.
Yeah, I think it will have to be a kitchen drop from here. They don't have dirt open, I don't think. But yeah, Forrest, you feel like he's going to have a big round to play. He's on the smoke. He's got 3 in hand. He can delay that kitchen drop. As well, and he's safe behind those keeper barriers as well. So as this execute comes in, Bleed have done well to get it back to a 3v3, but they're going to have to still pull off a little bit of magic here, Demo.
Here comes Asfi down in towards blue. Down goes Hoven. Asfi, he prones right on through the blue wall along with Reaps going down long. Here's the jump up onto the box, but Fault stands tall in behind the back of the site, but somehow gets a kill. 25 seconds, Asfi with the bearing in hand up against Forrest. Going back and forth between the box. Asfi, does he know? Oh, misses the jump, but gets it in the end. What a round from Bleed. More question marks come in the chat. Oh boy, this is going to be one hell of a match.
Oh dear, I tell you what, these guys, both teams love to run their mouth. They had a 4v3. SSG had a 4v3.
It's a 5v3, remember, before the kill came in.
Oh, right. And I was going into it and I was saying, yeah, they've done the professional thing. They've got back on site. They're bringing this back into a game of Rainbow Six Siege, not who can make the biggest plays. And then boom, team kill. changed around. But they should not ever be losing that clutch. Oh my days.
Why peak?
Why peak? Well, I mean, why peak? Why?
This is just a ranked player's heaven. Like, that's all this is.
I feel like I'm watching a custom 10-man sub right now, I'll be honest.
Honestly, we are watching the Pro Hub.
This is
It's just
incredible.
a glorified scale.
This is out. And I tell you what, the one thing that I love about Bleed, they do not know when they're beat.
No.
They don't have
No.
a clue.
No.
Like, they go up against all of these top teams, and again, let's bear in mind, let's just go storyline for Bleed. A year and 5 months ago, a year and 3 months ago, this was a ranked stack put together to play in Pro League. Qualified into, Southeast Asia. Obviously didn't make the Copenhagen Major, just through one best of 3 that they missed out on. And ever since then, they keep coming in and they keep playing against these top teams in international tournaments and just showing no respect, showing no fear. And honestly, they get punched and they hit harder back. It's absolutely incredible to watch these guys.
They can take a hit. They really can.
Really can.
And a lot of the games that you watch them as well, they're always long. Like,
Yeah.
these guys never have just easy games as well. It's like they'll win them, but my God, they've had to fight everything they've had, to get that win, and then they have to go and do it again the next day. It's honestly, but look, SSG already losing the defense, which, to be fair, we did say, it's going to be attacker-sided.
We did.
So, at the end of the day, we've been
We were
proven right
right.
with that, but just obviously the circumstances, and impact trick not going to work, because obviously Sophia comes in, can deny that trick from happening via the drone hole. So one thing that we've mentioned as well with the bans is Azami, for example, has been let through, so that
Yes.
catwalk area is going to be a very safe position to play a player for the defense.
Yeah, as much as we say Azami got nerfed because you can destroy the Azami keeper barriers
There's no
from
difference.
bullets.
There's no difference.
In reality, it's no difference. One, because obviously, hold up, we'll come back to Azami. Ashen, in a bit of a rat pause.
Has he been tracked?
Does he find a kill? Oh, a freebie. Will he type? That's what we want to know right now. Will he type? But yeah, basically, if you're shooting down an Azami keeper barrier, you're not shooting the enemy, and therefore the Azami can peek out often behind the half-shot keeper barrier and find the kill. So it's not really a nerf, I would say, unless DMRs are in play, which, as you can see...
Really, 2 operators will be bringing the DMR. That's going to be your Twitch or your Lion, which, again, situational operators not going to be brought all the time. Or maybe a Dokkaebi as well if you want to try and fit that into the mix. But at the moment for Bleed, not a real lot has happened for them. They've only just lost the one player. They haven't really got a whole lot of the ground as well, just inside of the map. Faults ready. Inside of construction, Asfi is going to be moving in with the ace. A very important operator to not lose out on, but they've lost him. And another one for Faults. Picks up Turd as he drops down in front of the window. This looks to be a wrapped up round for SSG.
Yeah, the process for Bleed here has basically not been good. They got the main breach, but then look at the locations of where people have died. 2 people have died to Faults, not knowing he was inside. All right, the second player knew he was inside a construction, but Asfi, when he walked in there as Ace, didn't know. Mentalist has died downstairs as the Thatcher, so no walls are getting open. They've just got to try and recover it, and they're not going to do so. Reeps is not going to see Faults again on the side of the door on the off position. It's all going to be up to Hoven in the 1 versus 5. I'm not going to say never demo, but it's going to be pretty tricky, and Faults will take it down for a flawless round for SSG.
Yep, massive round for SSG. Again, played the positions well. Lack of droning, probably more than anything you would say.
Yeah.
There was 1 kill happening in the basement where there was no info. Look at the Solus, picks up, 2 kills from just no info again. One thing that I've already seen just from the first 2 rounds is, Bleed, where's your Grim? Where's your Ying? Where are these amazing operators that we want to see? And especially whenever you're up against the cache. Azami's open, Rafter's going to be difficult. You need your Capitals, you need your Grims, you need something to help you with that push.
And I tell you what, there's one player right now, Faults, 7-1. And I think the one thing about Faults is, he's had a bit of a hard time adjusting to how, because he's the only remaining member from old SSG. From the old, I suppose, Lycan, Canadian, Core, Hotton.
That team that won the Hammer.
That team that won the Hammer, that played, and they were known for slow, methodical siege. They love Clubhouse in the utility.
Well, if you have Troy, obviously it's going to be slow.
Exactly. It's going to be slow. It's going to be very process-driven. Now, if you think back to, I don't know, SI23, and you look at Forest, J9, Iconic, Call Out, that Astralis team that were just honestly absolutely mental.
What a run they had. It was,
event, and they were just playing this gung-ho siege. J9 was clutching everything.
Massive clutches. That was where they were playing,
Yeah. So Faults, I think, has had a little bit of a tricky time transitioning from one mindset to the other, because that is, how it is. And I'm not saying this SSG are a copy of Astralis in 2023, but look at him today. He's actually, and so far in the tournament as well, he's having a great tournament so far, and it's worth pointing that out, because at previous tournaments, he hasn't looked as good as we know he has been, basically.
Oh, the Fuse shield. Here we go again with Mentalist. Here we are.
Man.
I mean, look, Fuse, in its own right, can bring in, I suppose, your smokes, can bring in your hard breach gadgets as well if that's something that you need. But really, the gadget, where are you going to see value? We never really see value unless it's like a basement defense where you can maybe get and do some vertical, but maybe they're just going to play him just for the shield. Remember, with 2 shields banned, you don't get that opportunity, and he has been able to pick up 1 kill. Forrest took down Hoven between that, though, and Forrest has to try and run away now, and he's doing a great job. Just run from the fuse, and he will get himself out of there, and he can just rotate back up the site. Not a bad play there from Forrest. Do I say the iconic line? Run, Forrest, run!
He gets himself away, 4v4. And I tell you what, for Bleed, it's actually not been too bad because they've actually been able to take cash, they've been able to take construction. I don't know if they're in logistics yet, but they're certainly close by within a minute. As much as this didn't look like it was going to go well at the start, as you can see Mentalist throwing out construction now, within a minute 10, they've got a big foothold in the map now. If they start working round and go into the Jacuzzi side, as you can see they're doing, if the bandit trick, I think he's gone the wrong side. He has. Now they've got Jacuzzi breach off. They've got a lot of map control here, Demo.
Still mirror windows, though. That's one thing that we have to look at, but I suppose you can maybe try and get the shield in just to deal with that. Mirror window, it is an option, but without the Yings, what's going to be their main pushing force? It's going to be the shield, just straight free Logi!
Oh, no.
But he's down. J90 with the pre-play C4. Flashes go in deep. Turd on the windows, but with no Candelas, what impact will he have? Forrest finds another one. Asfi taken off the board, and Reeks by himself in towards construction. The Azami making it a nightmare for Turd to deal with. Reeps finds one as Forrest has overswung his position. Another one for Reeps. All of a sudden, the 2v2 is where it ends up. He has a diffuser in hand. Potential plant could happen right in the bomb chassis, but then you're putting a lot of pressure on Turd to try and stop that. 1 nade still in the pocket, and 2 smokes as well is what Bleed can use as their utility. Reaps now in through Logi. See if he can try and make a statement in and across that mirror window. Perhaps there is going to be a player prone, tucked in towards the corner. 1 lines up, 2 lines up for Fultz. The man that you mentioned had to adapt massively in this year, and boy, he is making it look so easy.
Yeah, wow. Again, they don't know when they're beaten, though. I will shout out Bleed, bringing it back to that 2 versus 2.
I don't know how he's getting these 2 kills. Where are they coming from?
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. Fultz basically taking a very aggressive angle there. I was thinking we're on for 1v1 territory here, Demo. I thought as soon as Fultz gets that first kill, he's going to get refragged, and then we're on for an extended 1v1 again. But no, Fultz gets it done. That's going to be 9 kills for him in 3 rounds. And I was talking actually to some of the talent, basically talking about how Reaps yesterday maintained over 1 KPR, which is very rare for a player to do. It happens inside of maps. It doesn't necessarily happen inside of matches or tournaments or leagues. I think across every league in the world, I think we had like 3 players that had a higher than 1 KPR. Pyrox on Cruelty for one of them. I think Creed's in EU was pretty close. I don't know if he actually maintained it.
You had to mention Creed's.
He may have dropped under.
Creed's.
No, I'll be mentioning Creed's. Don't worry. We'll be talking about that on Sunday. He's not here yet. But yesterday, here's my point. Yesterday, Reaps got like over 1 KPR, first kills. Top player of yesterday by a country mile, by the way. Fultz is currently sitting at 3 KP. It's nuts how well 3 kills around. He is basically, at the minute, hard carrying SSG through it. And that's not something that we've seen, really, to be honest. Throughout the NAL stage, we saw Ashen, we saw J9 hard carrying SSG. The other 3 guys, to be honest to them, were struggling and were negative in the NAL stage. So, you know, if SSG have 3 people that can gun, including Fultz, they've got a real good shot in this tournament.
And the surprising thing with Fultz is you don't look at him and think he's going to be the main gunner for that side. Remember you brought in Ashen, for example, who obviously had a lot of talk around him, being this new young gunner, that wave that NA kind of got in. But Fultz was actually the best entry player yesterday, believe it or not, which is surprising whenever you actually think about the role that he plays, where it's more of the kind of flex support role.
Loading mag.
Well, the Fultz fan club is going to carry on speaking, I think, and we were gonna start the day as the J9 fan club because we think he's
we'll get on to
exceptional when he clutches.
I have a segment for Iconic as well. I have to mention him. Obviously, the transition he's had.
Yeah. Anyway, we're back down to the basement, and we're gonna have a roam. Fultz, just like he knows. He knows there's one inside the gym, but he's between a rock, a hard place, and a 3rd player, but does manage to find that kill. J9 finds one onto Turd, and suddenly SSU is still in advantage as J9 finds 3rd, goes out the window, finds the 3rd! What?
Stop the stream! He can't do that! He's not allowed to do that!
Oh my days. What? Take a breath.
What just happened? What just happened?
Take a breath.
Again, was that a basement?
There was.
How was that a basement?
Oh my days. I mean, there was 2 roamers. There was 2 roamers, Demo. There was J9O and there was Fultz. And they've gone bang, 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 bang. Done.
And
Round's done.
There was a moment there for Fultz as well where it looked as though he had dealing with a guy in gym, one guy outside a jacuzzi breach, another guy coming in through construction. And like you mentioned, caught between a rock and a hard place, and another player as well. And somehow he gets out of that, which I just find absolutely mental to see. But boy, J9O, shall we have a chat?
Well, we said we wanted to talk about the J9O fan club, and then there he comes in. Big 3K. Making the plays. That jump out of gym was ridiculous. Pre-firing into CC.
The consistency with this guy, probably since SI23, has been unrivaled, I think, in all of North America. I think he's been the most consistent player that region has produced. And I think consistency, I talk about it all the time, that is what the difference is between a good player and a great player.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, J9 will go under the radar because his personality is quiet, it's unassuming. He's not the guy that's typing, he's not the guy that's looking for the spawn peaks and getting aggressive like this, like we're going to see from Fultz.
He's 11-1, he can do what he wants.
He can. He's having a life game, get him on it, just get him in gunfights. But J9's been consistent, and for the longest time, I genuinely believe he's a top 5 player in the world. I think a lot of people inside of Tier 1 teams, in NA, I think any North American team would snap him up.
He gives users a run for his money.
He does.
And think about the way we talk about that guy in EU, true. So yeah, certainly one. But let's look at Bleed, because obviously right now, we mentioned before, it should be an attacker side at Clubhouse. Bleed have not been able to do that.
And they should be 4-0 down.
They should, and the thing with Bleed, they're not getting the kills. 2 players still yet to get a kill, Turd and Hoven, yet to get onto the scoreboard. And Reaps, again, for as much as what we praised them, negative at the moment. So it's the killing department for Bleed, and it just seems to be a lack of refrags more than anything. SSG looked like a unit. You look at that round that they just had, they were moving through the motions with each other. One player going for the wall, other player pushing in through doorways, catching them by surprise, taking those 1v2s, whereas Bleed haven't really done that.
Yeah, I think I agree, and I think Clubhouse is a strange old map because you can leave open all of the operators you want on the attack. You know, if we go back to the bands, you can leave open the Dokkaebi, the Ying, the Capitao, the Deimos, but ultimately you can't fit a lot of them in because you've still got to play a minimum 2 breaches and usually a Factor as well. So there's a lot of, basically there's never enough attackers that you want to bring 10 attackers on Clubhouse and you can only bring 5 is the way I look at it. I do think they need to lean into the Ying or the Dokkaebi a little bit more than they have been though.
Well, they have the Capitao this time that will help them with that Raptors area, and oh, what a pick from Reaps.
That'll do.
Little shot through the barricade, down goes Forest. Fenrir gone as well, so whatever traps he has activated, they will remain in that position. He can't switch them around, but Iconic gets caught out, the fire right beside him, but then the Gonsit come out, and this is looking a lot better from Bleed. Ashen gets 1 kill back, and also looking to go aggressive onto the breach with J9O. Both of them, working in conjunction, but no, Third is ready and finds both of them. Bleed, that's more like it. That's what we wanted to see. Slow and steady, and then just a flurry of kills.
They needed that. They definitely needed that round. I think, you know, they've maybe got caught up in the brawl aspect of it. I think, you know, if you think of this as like a boxing match, because it is, because these two like a little bit of talk, these two teams, and they've got those kind of players that just produce these huge moments. And I think they got caught up in a little bit of the mind games going on, a little bit of the mentality, a little bit of the individualistic side of things. Bleed just needed a round where they were significantly settled down. Settle down, go through the process,
it was slow.
Punish SSG for what they're trying to get away with. And we saw it. It was just 1, 2, 3, flurry of kills, 5v2 and see it out. That is pretty much the perfect round. And to be honest, as bad as Bleed has looked, apart from that last round. Because round 1 they got a clutch, the next 3 rounds they've been outclassed. They're still now in this. If they could get a 3-3 attack half, on the result of it, on the balance of it, that's not actually bad, even though I still would say I expect this to be an attacker side of Clubhouse. So even if they win this round, I still think they will be in a little bit of disadvantage.
Yeah. Iconic on the clash. An operator that we don't see all too
another
often
shield.
Is
a shield with a shield.
Shield with a shield, always a fun one. But yeah, look, I think the clash is going to be brought in for that early information. And honestly, I think they're probably going to use that clash as like a portable mirror window. That you're going to see one of the gunners behind trying to swing off the clash. You know, I'm sure everyone has seen it before where you have the clash, do not move, and you just peek around the clash like a mirror window.
I was actually fortunate enough to legitimately scrim a team coming to this event in Phase 2, unnamed, and they used a clash with a gunner behind where they was actually moving and using it as a run out with protection, and yeah, the scrim got a bit silly, I will say, at the end, but yeah. So, yeah, Clash is a very, very fun operator when you want to use her creatively. I wonder if Iconic's going to get baited by this drone. Spins out the Clash shield to shoot the drone and gets killed.
Timing,
it's not going to happen, is it?
Looking at the lineup from Bleed, it's not the most impactful lineup that you would say, where you don't really have a lot in terms of pushing into Logi, for example. You've got, I mean, a decent amount of flashes. You've got 12 flashes, of course, on the board, but I think they're going to struggle at the moment with just getting off these castle barricades because they don't really have much in the soft breach destruction apart from a few Gone 6s, I'm sure.
Yeah, normally you see Jim, you see Castle, and you auto pick onto Havana, but again, that's that thing. With Clubhouse, it's so hard.
Oh!
C4 comes out! Wow, that's Mentalist off the board. That's the Thermite down. So they're not just going to find Castle barricades hard, they're actually going to find taking control of Cash hard as well.
Oh, but here comes Turd, here comes Reeks. One jumping in through the window, another in towards top of Red Stairs, and they have found 2 kills back, but like you mentioned, with no hard breacher, this is going to be very difficult, and if these Azamis and Castles still on the board, how do they get through them? They just don't have the soft destruction. They're going to have to sit there and melee away the castle barricades. You don't know, Ash could just jump straight out of it, and it looks as though he's going to be ready for it. Oh, barely misses out on the shot. Just, that's it, fill it right back up, using the Azami. Reeks over to the other one now, so a minute 10, but it's going to be a very difficult push now for Bleed.
Yeah, we're on punching Castle Simulator. We've got attackers punching them. We've got defenders punching them. There's no Jacuzzi breach, which is why Forrest wants to have this castle open so he can play inside of Jim, so he can play in front of that mirror window if he needs to. And yeah, it's going to be a stalemate. They can't open Jacuzzi. They can't open any wall. They're going to have to force through choke points. Logi hatch, all of the windows, maybe Cash door into Con, and that's about it. And you would assume that SSG are going to sweep up from here.
And also, you look at the position Ash is in, he also has a shield right on the door that he can play behind as well, so even more safety for him. Ash is going to be the one in the hot seat. You can see J9O also coming over to support, but Turd finds an angle through the window. Ashen off the board. J9O trying to hold on to that construction door, but he gets shot through the wall and has to fall back now in towards the top of the main stairs. Hoven will get a drone in position. He has a diffuser in hand. He's going to have to try and stick it, but there's still a C4 from Force that will be fired out, but Turd is going to be out of the way of that one. A kill comes in for Force. He rotates back and forth in between Jacuzzi, in between bathroom, but the mirror window's been open for him, and he can play the angle to catch Turd by surprise, and Reed by himself doesn't have enough time, and SSG take a very important 4-2 half.
What a half. What a ridiculous half a siege, and SSG played that well. They understood that they'd probably killed the breacher, because let's be fair with this team. Who's going to be on the breacher out of this team on Bleed? It's going to be Mentalist. As soon as they got that C4, they recognized it. They knew that no breaching was going to come in, and they played according to that win condition, and it got them the round done. And I do just want to say about Mentalist as well, and I'm going to take this on a bit of a negative tone, Demo. I know you was all Mr. Positive yesterday when you was with Ace. I am going to take this on a little bit of a negative turn about Mentalist, because there's been 2 rounds, ultimately, where on Clubhouse he's played an operator that has been crucial to the success of the round and has died. The first round is more criminal than the second, which was when he was on Thatcher and died into the basement to Ashen. But the second round there, dying as the Thermite, really stops the round from doing anything from Bleed. They made a good fist of it, trying to get it back, but ultimately stop them from breaching, stop them from doing anything. So, you know, a little bit of, I suppose, fundamental siege that's gone wrong from Bleed, though.
I just don't think they haven't abused what's available.
Yeah.
Straight away, look at SSG.
Yeah, look at
the lineup. You've got the Grim in, you've got the Dokkaebi in. Never mind to switch them off, because I think they maybe want to see it more of a slow play style. Mostly because I think they've seen there's a bit of a kind of loose room going on.
Yeah.
More than anything, and they're going to have to try and challenge that. That's why we see operators like Lion and Ash probably come in to try and help them with that inter-engagement.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty sensible. Now, Reaps is going to do his best Ashen impression and try and
I would love to see.
Get a spawn
You'd love to see Ashen get popped off, wouldn't you?
It would be quite funny. J9 also loves that hollow sight. I don't know if you've noticed. They're not the hollow sight, the Russian
the Russian ACOG.
He's used it a couple of times now. We saw it on Castle. Yeah, we saw it on Ash as well there. But yeah, I think whenever there's a roam, I think the win condition of the roam is, can you get to a man advantage as the attackers, and can you do it in enough time? As we see Asfi go down on the CC window.
One thing we mentioned with Basement, it's all about keeping players alive for the defense and the attack.
Yeah.
If there is ever, you know, an unbalance of numbers, it usually swings into whoever has the more men on site. And I think for the attackers, if you have that extra man, you can rotate to areas such as blue, and there's going to be really nobody contesting you. But now we see not just the down, but also a kill happens on to Reaps as well. What an incredible start for SSG. Ashen already goes. Oh, it's a classic drone punch through the barricade and get a freebie.
What's he doing? Why is he just stood by the dead door? I don't think he was on cams because they had people dead. I don't know what mental atrophy is going to get confirmed now. Obviously, nobody could save him. It's now a 5v2. SSG have got a minute and 40 seconds to set up and execute. They've got the top 2 floors. They've got control of dirt. Hoven is going to have to get aggressive because he has to find some kind of kill back. And this is what SSG are waiting for, by the way. They're just chilled. They're doing nothing. It's stuck in the mud. It's statue simulator from SSG right now.
Hoven's playing GoldenEye. You know, he's got the handgun ready. But boy, all it takes is just one sweep through the site and see where they are. And that's going to be just all SSG need then, just to set up their attack. They have all the time in the world. Hoven will try and block up that main door onto the site. J9O ready to drop in towards blue, and both of the defenders stacking up amongst one another. They've completely left church, and now they will try and defend in towards kitchen. A very late impact trick will be successful. SSG just again taking their time, but we know they have the man advantage. They have all this time that they can utilize. Up comes Hoven now. He will try and make a play. Ooh. Will he catch one? It looks as though he can. Yeah, it is going to be on, but no, he shoots at the wrong time. Gives himself up. Now will let his position be known to the attackers of SSG, who again still have not pushed the bomb site. Oh, Turd almost dies to the Goyo Flames. Ashen gets called out. No. Where his Hoven came from, just impacts the barrier, picks up a kill, another one runs across Forest, takes a lot of damage, but look at this from Forest, what a play, pushes straight in towards Church, but Turd still through. How is it a 2v2? SSG will now try and get the diffuser down. Forest tucked in towards the default position, falls in a great area though to try and hold these long angles, hold for the fight, finds one, Hoven down, and Turd on a sliver of HP has to try and clutch up in the 1v2. But look at the positions from SSG. They can just wait for him. They can play around each other. Wall bangs trying to be attempted, but nothing comes off it. And there's Forest. SSG secure the round, but boy, did they make it hard. Are you strapped in, Demo? Are you strapped in on that roller coaster of emotions that was round 7? How did they get to a 2v? What would right, so 5v2, right? 5v2, and I'm thinking SSG are genius. As we've got a bleed timeout now, but I was thinking SSG are geniuses. Why? Because they knew that the defenders would have to get aggressive to try and get the picks back. They were sat on blue hatch watching the blue door and the blue rotate. They were sat on dirt door. They were sat on main stairs, and they were just waiting for these defenders inside the site to move around. What do? They had a little poke, but then they got back to site and just chilled in site. Time pressure becomes a thing. SSG then get really stressed and start running like headless chickens. And it goes to a 2v2. Oh my god, like SSG deserved to win that round because they played it beautifully in the start. But dearie me, they nearly did a job of throwing it. Just no words. No words, but again, SSG in the lead. We see the timeout come in from Bleed, and hopefully Giulio can give his boys a bit of advice in terms of what they need to do to get back into this game, because right now it's not looking too good for them. 3 rounds behind SSG, as we know as well, on the attack, and we mentioned before, with all of the operators available in terms of your clubhouse that you get to have, SSG will abuse that. We know their operator pool is extremely deep whenever you're dealing with a player like Forrest that we mentioned before as well. And look, they're not going to go for basement. They're going to go completely change it up, right up to the top floor, in towards gym and bedroom. Yeah, I actually think they need to. I really think they just need a change up. And, you know, Julio's timeout is going to have given them that. What I will say, though, is whenever there's a timeout for one team, there's a timeout for another. Yeah, it works both ways. So if you look at now what SSG are hovering, they're hovering the Ying, they're hovering the Jackal. You know, they will expect that Bleed are going to come up with something different. Because that was a timeout after 1 defense. So they're going to try something drastically different, you would assume. And so, yeah, we're going to go to gym. And Mentalist is going to be on the Maestro. And what I was wondering and what I was hoping, would we see a Brava? Oh. Look at this thing. He loves his boss G. I'll tell you what, that's ballsy, right? You're 5-2 down. You've played like crap. You've got a few exits in the last round. And you're on the boss G. Honestly, this will have to be watched. We'll be watching to see how this boss G does. But, boy, I don't know about this one, Turd. I really don't. Is he been baited into a run out of dirt? Because the Jackal of Iconic has just opened up dirt. And I think he's just trying to bait a somebody to go for it. Yeah. Or is he trying to push himself? I think he wants to push in because, look, Jackal, especially with Iconic, he is that kind of shadow lurker, isn't he, where he'll just sit there and wait for his opportunity to come. And if he can get himself into position, it will be very strong. But as we know, there is a roamer downstairs. We have that vigil on the bottom main stairs as well. No footprints to be seen also. So he's hidden himself extremely well. So this is going to be a tense one because, again, that extra man for the attack or the defense is enough just to sway Clubhouse with how we know it works with all the different crossfires you can establish. But Iconic is actually just going to go straight through blue, ignore where Turd is. Obviously, doesn't know he's down there, but it's going to work out for him.
Absolute passing ships in the night. Sometimes it happens like that. We can focus on the fight that will never happen. If we get back up to the top floor, Asfi, he's reinforced off the... I will think of the word. He's reinforced off the logistics wall, and he's going to bandit trick that.
Yeah.
So, Bleed are giving SSG the east side of the map, but then they're going to bandit trick and try and keep control of logistics.
It's going to waste time. And SSG, I mean, we've seen from the basement, kind of stalled out. They were
Still
pretty slow, and Turd just has not moved his feet. Both of these players have no idea where one another is, but they have a suspicion. They think that they do, which, I mean, the thing is, they're completely right, but they don't know that, and here we go. Iconic is starting to make his approach, but maybe Turd just walked away. He could be at the toilet, I don't know.
He's not checking
He
this.
hasn't moved, there's no way.
Is he
checking? An absolute freebie, and it will be Turd.
Oh, the body dump!
What a patient player!
No.
Well, a minute 30, he just sat there and waited, and he does get his man. And SSG, they have wasted a lot of time trying to secure that kill. Action is inside the bathroom. He's just walked in, Reef find him as well. Volt is going with the refrag. He will get him, but no! Turd comes up with the Bolt G and gets the kill. Another one from Turd. 2 kills with the Bolt G. You'll never see anything like this again. You never will.
The C4 will finish off the round. And Tad has just typed, shit, LMAO in chat. I tell you what, this team, as much as they've not played beautiful strategic siege, they do not know when they are beaten. And they still have confidence. They still
I can't be bothered, man. I can't be bothered. It's just...
Ted is from prep phase, bottom main stairs for 2 minutes.
Gets his kill.
He was on TikTok. He was scrolling, doing nothing. Gets his kill, runs up, gets 2 boss G kills, wins the round. No problem at all. And then, for good measure, adds on to the type in chat.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was also a tricky one as well, because I think the fundamentals behind that as well is SSG really struggled to deal with the construction into logistics and couldn't take logistics, which meant they had to force through breaches and windows and all that stuff. Ashen made a hero play, nearly worked out, but for one guy with a boss G.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Let's everyone, right, we're going to do some breathing exercises. Everyone just take a deep, big, massive breath, everyone. And exhale.
5 seconds left.
In
Round
for 4,
9.
hold for 4.
Here we go.
Out for 4.
Here we go. Round 9 coming up.
Is he on it again, by the way?
It's been a fun game. He's of course he's on it again. You don't even have to question that.
It's like Tad goes negative and then he gets on the boss G and suddenly he's superhuman.
I'll be honest, the past 2 rounds I've seen from SSG, I've been very worried. Even though that they did win one of them. They are stalling out in that mid-round a lot
The
so
fact
far.
that they nearly lost that first round from a 5v2 does give cause for concern.
Yep.
They did then obviously lose the next round. We're back down to the basement. So again, I suppose for Bleed, is it about they're not actually looking like they're going to do any kind of roam here, any kind of soft roam. There's no mute. There's maybe the vigil, but that's about it really. 6 impacts on side, so maybe some impact tricking could come in, but that's it. You would envisage now SSG will take faster control of the map, but it will be, the whole round will be determined on whether they can execute or not, which, as you can say, the last 2 rounds we've not seen them execute well. And Ted, actually, the vigil might not be that bad of an idea, because one thing, you hold flanks on garage all of the time with a drone.
Oil pit, yeah.
The oil pit flank, you hold it with a drone. He could get a successful flank if the drone is far away up in the rafters. It wouldn't see the vigil spikes.
I mean, he could just be playing it for a bit of clay pigeon shooting as well, because he's got a great angle onto the top of Adam's stairs there, so could be an option for him as well. But minute 40, all of the map is secured by SSG. We know that. Everyone from Bleed is going to be downstairs in the basement. So it should just be, very standard now from SSG. Run through, almost the practice drills as you like. Run through the basics of what you need to do. Make sure those hatches are going to be opened up. But the impact tricking is going to cause him a little bit of an issue. And oh no, Action tries to run across right in front of all of those keeper barriers. And Hoven gets probably the easiest kill he's had all game. And he hasn't had many.
He's not gonna, is he?
Of course he is.
He's just going to chill under the hatch.
Yeah,
no problem. I mean, why would you expect anybody to be there? It's not like Cade's on site. That's the only place you'd ever see a Cade. You'd never see anybody else there under an open hatch.
Sooner you come to accept what Turd is, the more you'll enjoy him. Just don't question, just accept it.
I accept it. I watch his streams.
Accept it. Oh, it's going to get flamed out as well as See the Goyo counter should be popped, and J9O has taken up that position in towards the Adam stairs. Fultz has now also successfully opened up that triple wall, a huge position that he can now sit in and try and lock down that church. We can see a couple of Yings also be displaced there by Forest, and a few flashes as well for good measure. Iconic has the diffuser. Looks as though they will be trying to jump in towards that hatch, but no, immediately turned! Just to blast them out of the air! Headshot, good night, has a swing, but Fultz is ready for him. But no, the trade-off to keep a barrier gives a great bit of information over to Mentalist to win that engagement, and 2 more kills come in after that. Bleed a great hold.
So I'm writing a checklist summary of this defense, of this attack half by SSG, defense half by Bleed. Number 1, Turd unreal with Boss G. Number 2, SSG can't execute. Seems like Bleed know that. It seems like Bleed have found that out. And if I'm a Bleed fan, if I'm a Bleed fan, I'm very excited now. And if I'm an SSG fan, I'm hoping Callout delivers the time out of his life right now. And he forces, you know, in my opinion, I would just tell them to start pushing site fast, get a bit crazy, get a bit erratic with it. Because you honestly, your executes aren't good enough. They're not. What do you say?
Again, just that mid-round, they are slowing down way too much. They're not getting themselves into the right position. It doesn't look as though they know where they want to go. They don't know what they want to do. I mean, the crazy thing as well, Bleed's way of stopping that attack was, you know, I don't think any professional coach would have thought of this as, Turd's going to kill the guy who drops with a boss cheat. That's the way we'll win that. And that's the way they want it, because he just nailed it. As soon as that diffuser's done, that's it, round's over.
Did he catch him in the air?
He caught him in the air.
He's boss cheated him out of the air with a headshot.
Yep, because he was standing inside of, I think, blue, wasn't it? And he caught him just as he fell.
Turd actually had a really difficult attack half as well. I think he was like 3 and 6.
It was.
And now he's 10 and 7 on the defense. We'll call it 3 and 6. I don't know if that was the actual stats. I remember him getting back to 6 and 6 after the exit frags in the first round of the defense. But yeah, you got to feel for Fultz as well. He did drop off from his 3.0 KPR, but he's still, you know, maintaining a very excellent and a very handy record. I think if we happen to go all 3 maps and go overtime, if he has a good day, we could be talking about records.
I mean, the issue is that no one else from SSG is stepping up. No one else is above 5 kills apart from Fultz. That's a massive issue.
The star players, J9 Ashen, that we said have carried them through the stage, are not currently present today. J9 had 1 great round on the defense on the gym. Was it 3-piece or 4-piece?
3-piece.
That was it. You know, Iconic, and if you think about
if
you think about how old Astralis worked as well, in that, you know, that
he's playing the same rules what he was previously, where he's allowed to have that freedom, isn't it?
And he has that impact. He had that impact on Astralis. We're not yet seeing it inside of this map specifically.
Yeah. So hopefully the timeout has worked for SSG, and they can give their head a bit of a wobble and get them back into this map, because it's slowly moving in favor of Bleed. The momentum is behind them. The confidence is behind them. We know that for a fact. Hoven on the Azami, going to be setting up in a nice position, of course, in towards the rafters. Bandit Trick will be successful on the left side, not so much on the right, but he still has been able to, I would say, stop the better side, but as we see, plenty of Selmas, but an impact, barely misses out though. Forrest didn't take a single bit of damage, which I'm more surprised about. How's that happened?
He did yelp. I mean, so that's the Jacuzzi breach. That's not the Jacuzzi breach, that's the CC breach. There's only hard breach now on Ashen, and he's just used one of them. I thought it might have been for Garage, but I'm not actually sure where he's done that breach. Is it Jacuzzi? Anyway,
could be Cornwall, no?
So, is it Jacuzzi? Yeah, it is. So they're not... Oh, have they already got a breach on Garage? I was about to say, Garage is going to be unsurmountable here. Because there's 2 in there and in his army.
A lot of teams, I think, these days actually leave Garage like pretty soft as well. I've seen where they want to try and put them for like bedroom and stuff. Yeah. So I have seen that a few times. You've got the right wall, but the left wall is open. So again, you can still open that up with a soft breacher, but you can maybe rotate the Ash.
Difficult,
right? I mean, you can just bring the Ash in though, and that makes it pretty easy.
It does, but are they going to do that? Is he going to pick CC?
I've seen a bit of time in there. It was the Bandit, wasn't it? Was it Ashley? Yeah, he's in bedroom.
I want to drag him to the window to peek it.
First pick. Massive one at that. Hoven's left his position on rafters to challenge the players in bottom Garage, and he's lost his life because of that. Not the greatest of plays that you could go for. Ashley has also been droned out inside of bar, and this is looking a lot better from SSG. They are assessing what they need to do, they're assessing the players that they need to try and take out. One of them is down in Garage. They know there's going to be another guy inside of Raptors. If they can take control of Garage and Raptors, this push should be fairly simple from then on in.
Problem is, there's still a player, even though there's Army side, there's still a player of Turd inside of Raptors, and there's 40 seconds left. You've got to kill him, and then you've got to execute. He can doxstim himself through, Demo. Brilliant, you once said, when this happened before. And Turd's going to doxstim himself through, keep himself full HP, but he will die to the player walking up the stairs. You would imagine. There it is. But the refrag happens from Reaps, so 3v4, 20 seconds left.
Forrest has the diffuser in hand. He's going to be stationed outside of the main breach, so they need to try and get the smokes in to cover off top red and also that radio door as well.
2 smokes on Reaps.
Ashen needs to get ready. We see the smoke canister will be displaced, but look at the plant position of Forrest right beside the breach. Mentalist knows that he's going to creep up on him, and he finds the kill. He stops the diffuser going down. A 1v2. False is going to get cast out. Reaps is still alive. Ashen has to try and cover. Reaps now moving up, has to try and sprint for it. Is the cover going to be there? Both of them lined up. Reaps, no, doesn't swing. Another one just drops himself at this floor. Reaps in the 1v1. Faults taking his time, relocates in towards Raptor. Reaps, what a swing and a quad, disgusting quad. Oh, how does he do it?
Bomb diffuser disabled by
I don't even know what to say, Demo. I'll be honest. If we had caster cams on right now, I've just dropped to my knees. How has Reaps won that? How? How? They knew where he was. Hey, I was down here, I promise. I've just stood up. How have they won that, man? Reaps is just... Deary me, SSG.
I feel like I've done the London Marathon.
Honestly, we've got to cast 2 best of 3s today, Demo. My energy's zapped already. I don't know. Look, like I think the round ultimately, in my opinion, was won. If we bring this back, by the fact that they wasted so much time. Like, SSG wasted so much time deciding which side they were going to go for. We saw Ashen breach Jacuzzi, but then they never went and pushed Master. They then tried to go to Garage, and fair enough, they got a 4v3. But it just didn't happen.
Can we help Faults? Can we help him?
Poor Faults, 18
Can
kills.
we help him?
Plants.
SSG! You're not a one-man team.
Well, we said you was, but we said it was Ashen.
We chose Jane, I know, before anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, this is your flex support player dropping 18 kills.
I'll be honest, I could watch 5 maps of this.
Like,
we might have to.
I have no... Again.
Ooh, the spawn peak's been seen. On
Don't
the
think
gym
Matt's Turd's going to win it anyway. Doesn't matter.
It's been seen. It's been droned.
There we go. Oh, I missed. Oh, he hit me. He hit him. Oh, dearie me. If it killed Ashen,
I tell you what,
whole chat would have been going.
Ashen's got a lot quieter since that very first round in spawn peak.
I'm telling you.
The toilet roll.
It's, oh, look, I said before in the first half, Bleachers weren't getting the kills.
Yep.
All of a sudden, their kills are coming left, right, and center. You know, it really, but SSG, it's just they get to that midpoint and they waste so much time. It's way too slow today. Way too slow for this side.
And this is what I kind of always think from, as an outsider's perspective, we're both Europeans. We generally work on EUL and, you know, some of the other regionals. We don't really touch North America much on a domestic scale. But the one thing that I've always wondered about SSG is, do they want to be SSG or do they want to be Astralis? And they can't seem to decide. I think that maybe does hinder them.
I always looked at that side and I thought they're a team that can play quick, can play rushes, can play that fast meta extremely well. But we just haven't seen that today.
That's genius by Hoven, by the way. So he waits for the Thermite breach, because normally when a Thermite breach opens that single wall,
it'll get the other side.
But he waited until after the Thermite breach goes off to reinforce, which means it keeps that logistics wall once again reinforced. It keeps it reinforced, and I think Turd's got something cooking here. Do you know? Do you think? Impact up, and he's going to hold the hatch drop with the boss J.
Because he knows the Ying's going to come there. Because again, I would say SSGs today have also been very readable, very predictable in the strats that they've done. It's been very basic, very by the book. Everyone knows those strategies. So that means Bleed are going to know what you're going to do. And if they're going to try and go for that same attack that they did previously up here in the gym and bedroom, where they try and get in through Logi, they try and push in through construction, play in some of the windows, Bleed will know how to adapt to that.
Yep. I think they will as well. And, you know, the logistics is going to be impossible. Like, the only thing that they can do is try and ying down the hatch, and Turd's going to be holding that. Hoven's picked up one with the C4 as well. Ashen's having a mare. And that's the Jacuzzi pressure gone.
The mirror windows have not been... I've not been judged whatsoever, but by SSG. They've just let these mirror windows sit, and here we go, Turd. Because, I mean, the thing is, if they're bandit tricking in towards Logi, they know that they need to get Aspie out of Logi, so they're going to go to Logi, and then we're going to see the guy below kill them. So everything's lining up beautifully right now for Bleed. Reaps with another, and SSG again, just doing nothing. Just nothing is happening for them. Just standing out on windows. We see an elbow to Reaps just says that. You see nothing. You see absolutely nothing. You see bullets coming towards your head. J9O has got himself towards Logi, just took a bungee from below, and Impact goes in, Turd ends up picking the kill. An iconic
15 seconds to go.
1v5, 3 Candelas, he hasn't used them, 10 seconds to go, picks up an exit frag, doesn't even secure the exit frag. Bleed, a flawless 6-5, Bleed in the lead. They were 5-2 down, Jack. Now it's 6-5 to Bleed.
This has gone from the sublime to the ridiculous and everything in between this game. And I'll be honest, right? If we can read what SSG are doing, bet your bottom bloody dollar that Bleed can read it.
So we've got a quote coming in from Mentalist, and I quote, "You can't even kill a down guy."
That's true. He's not wrong. He's not wrong, bro. He is not wrong. And I think we talk about the mental warfare, and it's interesting, actually, the mental warfare aspect of it, because Bleed suffered through their attacks, and they had to be quiet, and they had to wait their time, and the rounds stand back round, and now it's Bleed giving it large. Look at all of that. No replies from SSG.
Nope.
And you might just see it as a bit of shit talk, but it is so important because you've been in games, you've been in, and I'm not just talking about ranked lobbies, but this happens in ranked lobbies. If you're playing bad and somebody's giving you crap in ranked lobbies, it makes you play worse. I'm not condoning it, by the way. I just want to put that one out there.
No toxic here.
But it does mental inside of Rainbow Six Siege. This is the creme de la creme of players across the world.
It's like
these are all incredibly
puts the
skilled
pressure on you.
players.
For example, Ashen. If Ashen knows that Turd kills him, he's like, "Oh, Turd's killed me. Something's going to come in the chat," and immediately there's something in the chat. So it's that mental warfare. I cannot die to that guy, and then you overthink stuff, and then that ends up getting you killed anyway.
Exactly.
Instead of just ignoring it. Honestly, SSG may need to turn the chat off.
They might have already.
Honestly,
they might have already done it.
That
they might have
be the
already
way.
done it because they're not replying. What a game. I'll be honest, I am bloody loving this game.
Are you bleeding loving it?
I'm bleeding loving it. Bloody hell. Yeah, so, well, Bleed, they're on match point. They're on map point.
And they get the basement.
On their map pick, and they've rotated, because of how the rotations have worked, into the basement to win it all. And again, I don't think we're going to see any roams. We're not going to see anything too special, because they know SSG can't execute.
Look, they've brought in even more with extra. Now we're seeing the Grim and the Ying. So you could probably play your Grim in towards blue, try and take control generator, and then force your Ying maybe down towards the kitchen hatch as well. So you can try and hit with both of them, but again, it's the timing of things. I think Bleed have picked a very strong lineup. You have a lot of operators here who can waste time. And the thing is as well, it's not like your generic people would think of, oh, that's going to waste time. Like your Smoke, for example. Fenrir's are going to waste time dealing with that, and it's also going to hurt you in execute. Goyo's obviously going to waste time. Azamis are going to waste time because you have to sit there and destroy them. Miras are going to waste time because you have to try and figure out how do you deal with the Mira windows. They have so many operators here that are just annoying to deal with from an attacking perspective.
Yep, and it's just so smart. It really is. Like I say, I don't think they had particularly good attacks, but Bleed's defenses strategically have been really on point, really well read into SSG so far. And again, that's the process. What can SSG now, at this point in time, deal with? Where are they going to split their utility? Are they going to focus on triple wall? Are they going to get the mirror windows? Are they going to try and pop the Goyo canisters? How are they going to do that? There's no Flores. There's no Twitch. How are they going to execute? What's their plan? And that's the big question mark that's coming in, really.
The mirror window's still standing, Jack. Do you see that? It's still,
and do you know what?
Behind this.
Ted's got the cojones on him to still play behind this mirror window.
Oh, well, it's gone now. It's finally will be ruined.
No,
the bottom of it's gone, but I mean...
But he can play behind the bar.
There's no way. Oh, my... He's still playing on it.
And Forrest is dead.
I mean, it just Bleed do things that no other team would dare dream to think of. Oh, and Tur finds the pick as well. Fault's gone. The hard carry for SSG is gone. Now we really do need someone else from SSG to step up, or else Bleed will just sweep them aside on this half of Clubhouse. J9O has grimmed out in towards Generator, but nobody's there. He's going to get no value whatsoever. It looks to be maybe a moto drop coming in from Ashen, but we see the positions from Bleed. They are set up extremely well. Hoven especially. Flashes, though, do try and stall him out of that. In comes Reaps with the shotgun as well in hand. Aspie finds one. The shotgun misses, though. Both of them clogged up inside of moto. And they line up for Bleed. And they rip him apart. Bleed take map number 1. What a first map between both of these sides. Oh my word. Jack, talk to me. Talk to me, Jack.
That was one of the most entertaining Clubhouses I have watched in a very, very long time.
How do you make Clubhouse entertaining? They've done it. They've done it.
People will say Clubhouse is the age-old map where you can't do anything different. I tell you what, Boss G Meta, he's coming in right now. Fish and Chips, Bleed, they're making it their own map right now. SSG looked poor on it yesterday. Better performance today, but they lost. And they can't execute. And I think going into Bank, that's going to be one of the big things Bleed will start to play on, is their lack of executions. Think about Bank, bottom floor. What's it about? Executions. Like, Bleed have won the mental game as well. That's the one thing that I want to put in.
They don't know how to lose.
No.
They don't know when they're beat.
I feel like I'm watching a Rocky movie.
It's a little team that could.
Yeah.
Honestly, just...
Look at them.
And then the thing is, they look quite chill. They don't look as though it's like, wow, what a game we've just had. It's like, yeah, we do that a lot. That's kind of classic for us.
Yep.
It's not classic for us. That's not how you play Clubhouse.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, and this is one of the things that happens with teams that generally come from the Asia Pacific region that we've seen other teams. They succumb to the pressure of facing a big team. Bleed, they don't care.
They don't.
They've not got the respect. They just go for it and they back themselves.
On the other hand, I think the pressure's got the SSG.
Yes.
Because you're against an APAC team. You're North America. You're supposed to be this juggernaut of a region.
It's supposed to be an easy win.
You struggle against the Mexican side. You now struggled against Bleed. The SSG, they need to do something better than what they've been doing.
Yeah, I think so. I think Call Out needs to have a big conversation with them now because I think SSG have got it as well. Like, let's be fair. I think Bleed have achieved pretty good performance there on their defenses, but SSG I think have dropped off in terms of their performance. Maybe not dropped off because they looked pretty poor on Clubhouse yesterday, but what dropped off from the expectations that we had for their performance, it was nowhere near, and it was especially noticeable on their attacks and their lack of executions.
Yeah.
So Call Out needs to get into his players' heads, keep their confidence high, keep their mental good, and basically, if they can't fix their executions, they need to find a way to go around that. They need to find something different, just lurking somebody in to open the round or something like that. But
it's too predictable. That's the siege that they're playing.
It really is.
Bleed know exactly what they're going to do, and they just set up accordingly. I think SSG have not assessed the utility that I think Bleed were bringing on defense. Mirror windows were always being allowed to be left up, Azamis as well. You know, I just think that they need to figure out, okay, what is the main thing that's causing us an issue?
Yeah.
Let's bring the counter to that. Everything in Siege has a counter. That is the facts of it. And if you don't understand that, you're not going to be able to get far.
Oh, well, that was Clubhouse done.
That's Clubhouse done. Again, Bank still to come. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with potentially the conclusion of the series. If they take Bank, Bleed will move on into Phase 2, which will be played on Sunday. And then that means SSG, they get another chance to get into Phase 2, but it will be in that loser bracket, which again, will be played later on today. There's still an extra 2 best-of-3s that we have. But look, that's for later. We're going to go to the break. Welcome back, everyone, as we are ready to continue on with our first game of Stream B. And what a game we have on our hands already after the first map. Bleed versus SSG. Bleed take the first map 7 rounds to 5. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go and watch that one before you come back here. You need to watch that map.
I genuinely think, you know, there's maps in tournaments, matches in tournaments, where it's like, it was only groups, but I'll go back and watch it, and I'll watch it, and I'll watch it again. That was one of the maps I genuinely think. It had everything. It had absolutely everything. And obviously Bleed came out on top, 7-5. But at one point, they were 5-2 down after their first defense. They took a timeout, and Julio, to be fair, let's give him his props. Julio called the timeout after round 7. They didn't lose a round after that. Reaps came alive. Turd came alive. And Bleed got it done. And you've got to feel for faults. I'll be honest, you've got to feel for faults. 18 kills, 75% cost, 2 entry kills, a couple of plants in there as well. He didn't deserve to be on the losing team. Unfortunately, he was. But that sets up a nice storyline because Bleed have won on their map pick in this best of 3. So if SSG are to win it, and I would say on the balance of things, they were the favourites coming into this, we are going to have all 3 maps today.
Yeah, I think there's a big possibility for it. Next map will be Bank. As we know, this is a map that SSG played yesterday, and they looked very, very good on it against Cruelty. And I suppose, look, it is Cruelty, a different caliber of team compared to Bleed. Not taking anything away from Cruelty, but Bleed are just in that upper echelon of teams that SSG will be facing. It's a big step up. And obviously, it's a fresh VOD that I suppose that Bleed could have got their mitts on yesterday and had a bit of a watch through. That's
very, very true. And yeah, we're going to be straight into Bank, which is going to be, like you say, SSG, they played it yesterday. They started out on the attack yesterday, as they are doing today, and the old chat, as you can see, it's not stopping.
It was good luck, Ashen. Just everyone know you missed it. So.
It's you know, it's not going to stop from these 2 teams. One thing I'm kind of curious about, first round of Bank yesterday, J90 was playing the Cali. Will he have the cojones to play the Cali?
I think he has, Aspie, by the way. Yep. I think he definitely has.
Oh, I would be. Yeah.
These boys.
But actually, does Mute in the chat give Bleed a little bit more? Does it give confidence of we're in the heads?
Honestly, I think you need to get in the psychologists to see if that actually works. But boy, look at the bans. Again, Monty being banned out was the same on Clubhouse as well. Again, also is kind of a shield, but not really. Azami, no surprise, very strong operator.
Yeah, and as the final ban will come in, and we'll wait for it. Come on, Bleed, give us the final ban. And then I want to talk about Osa. Come on.
Okay. I've reverted to Tom J. Sherlock because he does that crap all the time, doesn't he?
Does he? Yeah.
Okay. Are
we basically co-streaming now? Is that what's going on? Shout out, Tom. I do want to talk about the Osa the Osa co-stream. Oh my god, I'm losing the plot.
Is Osa co-streaming these days?
I want to talk about the Osa. Well, she's banned, so she might as well. Yeah, I think for the Osa my god.
Can you, let's just think about
breathing exercises again.
Think about what you're going to say.
I know
what
I'm going to say.
Right, now say it.
Got it. For the Osa ban, the reason that teams might look to ban Osa is there's kind of 2 reasons. Primarily, it's because of this bomb site. Because if you do a half clear on this bomb site, as the observer is lovely showing us here, on the server side, you don't have to plant default if the Osa. You can walk in and plant behind the Osa shield from the west side. Perfect. I don't know who's observing, but thank you for showing my point.
He's Croatian.
Is it Mr. Medic? Yay. So yeah, as Medic is kind of showing us as the ad comes up. There we go. The Osa would plant there, and that's why you would ban it away. Also, we've seen teams try to use Osa on the top floor as well, on the windows. So it's a little bit of a funky ban. Osa's not one that you will see banned all the time, but map specific, it makes sense.
And the thing is as well, teams would also use that same Osa method for using the Monty as well, where you can have him as the kind of deployable shield.
These teams don't like shields as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, both the teams play the shields, which I think is another thing as well. That both of them respect one another for that.
Yes.
Blitz is up though, which is an operator's been left through, and there is certainly there are some uses that you can have. I think taking server, taking blue stairs, for example, very strong. We have your Blitz moving in there, but look, will we see that? I don't know. But looking at the lineup from SSG and their attacks, we mentioned before, just way too slow in that mid-round. They set up really well, they get into the map early, but then they don't look as though they know what they're going to do. Looking at the lineup, you've got a bit of a mix of everything. You've got the Grim in there that will help, of course, with clearing out red, but also the Dokkaebi. Bank, big map, big roaming map. We've seen Clubhouse, Bleed were on the road a lot of the time, Turd especially.
Yeah, there's 2 elements to this in my opinion. As we're seeing Forrest doing some great, was doing some great work on the Twitch. Didn't get it done, yeah, missed the BP. But there's 2 elements to this. There's the roam clear element, and then there's the execute element of this specific type. Now, the roam clear has got to be good for SSG here because there's a lot of investment inside of Bleed into the roam, and you see Turdster on the Oryx who can then go back up the hatches if necessary.
Yeah.
And that Valcam is going to help him to be able to do that But he might be doing it earlier. Look,
Is the
he was
hatch
on the
open?
Vault cam.
Is the
It
lobby
has
hatch
to be.
open?
It has to be based on the fact.
It is.
Yeah, based on the fact he's sat on the Vault cam.
Here's the thing, though. If I'm looking at that from SSG's perspective, why would they open that? Oh, they probably have an Oryx. That should be known, because there's no other reason teams would open that unless there's an Oryx going up the hatch. There's no other reason. You don't say it's for roamers. Nobody roams in lobby. Nobody does that.
No.
They have to know.
Unless,
Like, it's
unless
basic.
they
You have
left
to
it
know.
soft. We was too focused on why they would ban us.
Honestly, yeah, but Oryx has already opened it, so they know. They should 100%. They should know if they get caught out. They'll be very disappointed in SSG. But a minute 15, and again, not a lot happening for
Is he
SSG.
gonna go for it?
Here we go. I mean, he could, but
We never see this work.
oh, Ashen does fire out the
He's
phone
on
call.
cams.
Oh, Turt's gonna go for it, but no, he's mistimed it.
Oh.
I mean, the phone call.
Everyone's
that's what he
laughing
heard.
at him.
He heard the phone call.
Oh, that gives them cams as well. Oh no, SSG now, because Dokkaebi, obviously a little bit of not a passive ability, but not far off a passive ability, a secondary ability for Dokkaebi is that she is able to steal the phones and hack the phones to take cams from the attackers, from the defenders. The attackers now have control of those.
What I will say is there's still not a lot of time for SSG, and they haven't really made any impact in towards
Nope,
server.
true.
It looks to be a lobby main stairs push coming in from them. The Valkyrie cameras are still going to be up. That again, Bleed can still use to try and gain some form of information in terms of where this push is coming in from. Mentalist, he thinks people are going server, but as we can see, there is no pressure towards that side of the map at all. It's all about the back pushes. That is what Bleed need to be worried about. In comes the Grims from Faults. Down goes Iconic down the main stairs. Defender trap will give his position away and will be picked up. Asfi is there ready for it. Jane and Owen eliminated Hoven, but how do they get free main stairs? Asfi with another and another. Triple kill for Asfi. Finally gets tried up by Jane, and oh, the diffuser will be planted to C4 from Reeves. No, misses out on both of them. Will now swing in towards Vault, in towards Cash. Reeves ready, can he see them? No, looks away at the wrong time. His position is known, flashbang, tries to keep him at bay. Reeves now pushing in aggressively, the information. Is there any information? Doesn't look as though they are. They're all watching him right now. Reeps, 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, but no, J9O with a swing around the double window. Secures the kill and secures the round for SSG, but boy, that was close.
I said there was 2 elements. Element 1 was the roam clear. Did they get that done? Yes. Was it slow? Yeah. The second element, the second part of that attack was the execute. Was it ideal? Absolutely not. And it looked for a serious amount of time like Asfi was just going to mow them all down. They managed to just about get inside and find those kills needed. I wouldn't say that was clean siege. I wouldn't say that was good siege. And on the balance of things, I wouldn't actually say SSG deserved that round. But it's not about deserving rounds in siege. It's about winning rounds in siege. And they did get the round 1.
Same point that me and Tim made is this is a knockout tournament.
Yes.
Teams will not care how they win as long as they win.
You win it, yes.
League's different because League you can kind of look back and over a 3-month period, you know, week to prep matches, for example. You don't get a week to prep matches here. You don't. You get what? 8 hours at best if you're a coach. I mean, it means you don't sleep, but you get 8 hours.
Bro, yeah. Like, I remember, you know.
Let's take us back to 2019?
2020. I only ever went to one tournament as a sports staff.
Let's talk about it.
I'm not as accomplished as a sports staff as a lot of people.
I didn't expect this was going to be an interview. It's going to be a sit-down podcast.
But
get your questions for him.
What I will say is, so I went to SI 2020 with G2, and I didn't sleep. 2-3 hours of sleep maximum. I was last one out, first one in, and that's what sports staff do. They are the unsung heroes. Let's not pretend that, I know, these 2 teams probably expected each other, but take G2 for example. They will have had to go and review, who are they playing? I don't know, they're playing Fear-X. They will have had to go and review that. That means Titan, Romalio, all them lot will have been, they'll have basically pulled an all-nighter to get the team ready for today. And all support staff at this level do it, don't get me wrong, I'm not just pulling out G2, it's just because I know G2, obviously. But yeah, like support staff do a lot of work. And yeah, it's not about how you win rounds, it's about that you win rounds. He is on the Cali, by the way. I did question whether he'd be on the Cali.
You talked about the Cali.
Straight away, he's on it.
Look, whenever you're dealing with, of course, the top floor, one thing that teams will struggle with is just the amount of long angles you can get looking into the site from not only just the northern side windows, but also the lobby windows as well. So again, Cali as a sniper, it's probably Cali's best map just because you get a lot of value out of the long angles. And also, whenever Castle is a frequent pick as well, we know that Cali is a perfect counter to that operator as well. So yeah, No issues whatsoever with J9 on the Callan. He's doing a great job just at locking down some of those angles. And again, this is a better pace than I feel though from SSG. They've got themselves set up on the windows. Nobody's died the spawn peaks, which is always a worry, I think, sometimes on the top floor. And jump outs, of course, are another thing. But right now, it's looking all right for SSG.
Yeah, I think when attackers basically open up as much as they can of this map, Canto wall gets open, windows are open and being played. Maybe your square wall gets open, there's pressure on stock. The castle barricades don't get opened, as we see Forest miss the Gon 6 because of Wamai Magnet. When all of that happens, it feels very, very claustrophobic as a defender, and you start just sprinting around, trying to find anything, something. Mentalist does get away, but notice how panicked he was, and that's what this map feels like as a defender. This top floor feels like...
Hoven! Oh, out of garage, Callie! Tunnel visioned in with that sniper scope.
He's assumed it's a jump out.
He thinks it's not. That couldn't be me. That's the way that's mine. But massive kill. It means that lobby pressure is no longer there from SSG. But they're already in. They're planting the diffuser as we speak. A great kill from Turd. Eliminates Ashen. Asfi though, onto Iconic, brings it in 2v2. Diffuser has also stopped going down. In comes Asfi with the shotgun. Just has to try and play it slow, but no, he's been spotted out. Forrest seen where he was. He knows that he's in towards top square, and he can just sit and hold the angle. Let's Asfi can hit a nice shot, but no, doesn't get that luxury. Forrest plays it well. LMG, no pressure at all for him there.
Yeah, that was really good by SSG. It did, you know, I've done a lot of criticising of their attacks recently on the last map, but that was really good. They got open everything they needed to get open. They put a lot of pressure onto site, forced runouts, forced some, you know, hero plays from Bleed, and then they punished it when those plays came out, and that's exactly what you would want. I think we've gone from SSG not really playing a textbook round to their more or less playing a textbook round there and winning it out in that 2v1. Really, really good stuff from them. And it will force a rotation from Bleed now onto their third site of the map. They're going to give open area a go. Again, bringing the castle, the Fenrir, the Mute, Valkyrie, and Smoke. A lot of, I would say, very normal areas for this map and this site in particular.
See what the setup's going to be for them. The castle comes in as well. Fully reinforcing quad wall. Not the biggest a fan. I think the left side reinforcement of that quad wall, you should be leaving that soft, especially if you're going for your Archives Intelligencer extension, which they are going towards. Yes. And the reason why we open up that wall is because it gives you an extra crossfire and also protects some of the guys in Archives and Tellers. Yep. If you're pushing and you know there's a guy Archives and Tellers, an attacker can just push straight up to the window, push straight up to the door with no risk whatsoever. If you open up that wall, that's another angle that guy has to check, and he can't do that. Yeah,
it's something that you see in pro play, but you don't necessarily see in your ranked lobbies.
Start doing it in ranked. Start doing it. But you should, because you get more value.
You can play crossfires onto bottom square very, very easily, and we see who's going to come up bottom square. But I thought that was. I don't know why I thought that was a player. I thought. Whatever. Ash has just found a kill, and the typing has started. Here we go.
He didn't turn it off.
He's back.
Oh boy! Oh boy! I feel as though he's actually shown his hand too early there. He should have showed his hand whenever he won the map.
He has.
Because now if he starts dying, oh boy, they know he has it on now. Forrest on a bit of a creep downstairs. Again, Forrest just plays everything's on Nook now. You know, just whoever he feels like he's going to be playing it. Mentalist will be droned out, so we know that someone is going to be in towards the elevator corridor, and Forrest opens up and now rotates around. But look at the general picture of SSG. They've got their opening pick. Square should be their priority. You open up that quad wall, that'll give you your access into the site, and obviously you want to try and get your diffuser down inside of kitchen as well.
Yeah, and I think the one big thing for Bleed is they're playing from behind a lot at the minute now. You know, it's another problem. They're playing another 4 versus 5. Made that 3 versus 5 as Forrest has managed to find the lurk in on that note. And again, the one thing that I will say about Bank is, if you give, as much as it is a huge map, don't get me wrong, he doesn't know. Do they know? Oh. No, he doesn't know. If you give the attackers enough space, Bank starts feeling very claustrophobic. And that's what these players are feeling right now. Trying to make hero plays. J9 has just shot another one down there, and it's a 2 versus 5.
But we've seen Bleed in this position before, and they refuse to give up, so I'm saying nothing just yet. Ashby has all of his utils still available, all 3 of the Toxic Babes in his back pocket there, and equally, look at SSG, plenty of util. They have the Candelas, they have tons of flashbangs, so many flashes right now for SSG. It is insane, so you would hope that they can get them sent in towards the bomb site and just sweep up the kills. It should be quite easy for them. In goes the Candelas, a hatch drop will be coming in from Faltz. He has the diffuser in hand as well. Bulletproof will try and give out some form of information for Aspie, but is not aware that Forrest has crept all the way around towards copy window. He will get folded though, but here comes the drop. He finds one, but again, Ashen is still alive with that diffuser. And as long as he can stick that, this should be an unwinnable position for Hoven as he now starts to creep in. And there's the cross from J9O. He was in Archives and Tellers for a very long time in that round. He picks up the kill from it.
I love 1 versus 5s when the player gets a couple of kills. And it goes on to 1v3.
Get your hopes up.
You always think, nah, it couldn't happen, could it? And then, yeah, no,
and it's like,
it never does.
And it's like if you sit there and, obviously from a casting perspective, you're sitting there saying, he doesn't win this anyway, and all of a sudden he does, and you look like an absolute clown. You've got egg all over your face.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I always look like a clown timeout. Well, Julio's taking a timeout. And if you remember in the last game, after...
Very similar, it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's 3 rounds where Bleed have been utterly dominated, which is what happened on Clubhouse.
Not getting the kills.
Not getting the kills. Julio's taking a timeout. They didn't lose a round after that. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say it's going to be a 7-3 to Bleed, but Julio had a very effective timeout in the last game, so you would expect a reaction.
I can already tell what it's going to be.
Boss G.
Boss G. Exactly that. Turd, get warmed up. You're coming on.
Yeah. Turd without the Boss G, you're off. Boss G Turd, you're in.
Half-time, you're getting on.
A half-time substitute.
I'm telling you, that's what they need, and I would love to see it, but
Imagine.
no. Into the Solace, it looks like, from our perspective, what we see.
I mean, look, Bleed need to do something. They've now played all 3 sites. They've now lost all 3 sites. Locker CCTV was the site that they got closest to winning, and it is going to be the site that they go to now. So that makes sense, but it makes sense on the normal rotation anyway, but if the timeout hadn't have happened. But they need to do something because SSG are outclassing them, and I think this is the site they got closest because they were really able to test SSG's execute and have an effective roam. It didn't happen with the Oryx play that they tried, sure. Now Turd's going to be on the Solace, looking to probably... What does Solace do? Starves information from the attackers. Can you get rid of, as we can see, 3 drones gone already, continue, you'd imagine he's just going to sit and play around that main stairs area and just get rid of that util, that information that SSG are going to bring, and just try and get rid of as many drones as possible, and then really focus on the late round and on that execute.
I will say I think SSG have a great understanding of this map. I think they know exactly what they want to do. I would love to see SSG versus G2. I think that would be a cracking game on Bank with both of those teams, like, you know, like G2 and Bank. We've seen yesterday how good they can be on it, and SSG, obviously a big fan of it. It'd be a great match to see. Which, is that much possible?
Yes. If SSG lose this and G2 beat Fear X, it's very plausible.
G2 SSG for the spot?
That's how we would see G. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. Keep your eyes peeled. You never know what might happen. I mean, Bleed are still 1 map up. They, of course, took Clubhouse previously, 7 rounds to 5. But Bank isn't doing much for them at the moment. We will see an open area hold, accompanied by a blue hold as well.
I wonder, sorry to cut you off there, but I wonder if Reaps is playing the Warden Shotgun again, because he was playing the Warden Shotgun in the last map, and he had the pistol on. He's moved to the SMG-12 now. Is it the SMG? Is it?
Yeah, SMG.
Yeah, okay. Doubted myself there. He's moved to the SMG, but I wonder if he's playing the Shotgun. It is where you would play Warden Shotgun up there as well, to be fair.
But the open area hold, of course, will just waste a bit of time from SSG, and I'm sure Bleed would like to get a kill if they could as well, but nothing really coming off in terms of the kill department, but they have wasted a little bit of the time in there. Minute 40 left, and still have the blue player to deal with. You know, that's a scary thing. You've dealt with open area, but then there's still another fortification on the map, and a very important place, of course, being server.
Yeah, 5 drones gone as well, so... You know, Reaps is going to have a little bit of fun. He doesn't have any utility to help him, apart from the shield, though.
He's barricaded himself in, so he will die. I'm going to take a punt, he's going to die.
Can he take 1 with him? Can he take 2?
How many can he take with him? Yeah.
Honestly, it's more about the time. How much time can he waste, but then can he take 1 with him? And that, more or less, is often the win condition of this round, is this fight onto the blue stairs. Should SSG, of course, choose to take it. They can ignore it and play a 5v4 elsewhere. It looks like they're going to take it, but that's obviously another option they could do as well.
It's where heroes go to die and villains are made a lot of the time as well. And here we go, as they will start now to move down, and they're going to EMP away. Genius. The glasses from the ward, and there we go. Reed's going to be deactivated. In goes the Ying. Oh, excellent. Great clear out from SSG, utilizing the Thatcher, disables the goggles. In goes the Candelas. No hope for Reeves.
Now it's all going to be about the execute for SSG. You've got a 5 versus 4, but how are you going to get the plant?
Oh, Snake.
Forrest is going to snake himself to the bomb chassis. He's going to EMP and try and cover off any sound with the EMP. Plant's going down, 5 versus 4. Do they know? It doesn't look like they do. Red's fired off, and Fultz has dropped for the cover as well. Plant will go down. Fultz finds 1, but Hoven, Asfi, make it a 3 versus 3. It's all about now. can you retake? Because the hatch control is under SSG, they should be able to shoot the fish in a barrel as this defuse goes down. Hoven's on it, gets off it. Doesn't find the kill though. Iconic finds that. Just needs to hold the hatch now. Will he find another one from the hatch? He does. This is going to be SSG's round. And it's all down, in my opinion, Demo, to that execute on blue that set them up nicely.
One of the best attacks I've seen in a while.
Yes.
They're extremely proficient. You deal with the open area, you move in a lot quicker than what we've seen previously from SSG. The blue, picturesque, I would say. And Forrest, again, great thinker, isn't he?
Yes.
A great mind of the game. He just says, I'm just going to prone in here. I can see an opportunity. He goes in, he masks sound. Everyone will be thinking, oh, they're just planting on the door. C4s and smokes were getting tossed into that area, and he was nowhere near that. Big reaction
for how bad their executes looked on Clubhouse to how good that. Like that is. I talked about textbook on the CEO. That's textbook basement execute. I love the factor for disabling the goggles, like you say. That gets them a 5v4. But then it wasn't, it was of course the factor of Forest to get the plant down, but it was also the Capital fire, the yings, the dropping, the synergy, everything.
Yeah.
And then maintaining the hatch control as the win condition in the post.
It's so weird because they utility dumped so well on that round, but they couldn't do that in Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And that was only half an hour ago. It's so weird.
It's chalk and cheese, isn't it? And I will go into this. People, I've faced, I suppose, criticism and not criticism, but pushback from people who say maps aren't that important in Siege. And to an extent, when there's a big disparity between teams, you can go on all 9 maps and you'll get the same result. Sometimes, as you can see, SSG gods at executing on Bank, but terrible at executing on Clubhouse.
Weird. Very, very weird. But anywho, SSG 4-0 up. Bleed just... they look out of it again. We're in the same position where 2 players haven't got kills.
Yep.
Happened exactly the same on Clubhouse.
And Ted's struggling.
Ted's struggling. Reaps again. Who we said, wow, look at this guy. 0-4 just has not been in the game whatsoever.
And he was the MVP of day 1.
Yeah.
He, statistically, the MVP by far and away. He knocked it out of the park in day 1, yesterday, up against CAG. And today, and especially inside of this map, really struggling to get into it.
We have the hold again in towards that top floor, and last time we seen a great execution coming in from SSG where they were able to apply pressure on nearly every side of the building. You had pressure from Square, on the north side windows, in towards lobby as well that we know of. No Cali this time though from J90. It's a lot more of a tame lineup, you would say. It's got the Capitao in there, that'll help with your final execute. And also clearing away anybody who could be inside of Elevator, but look at the position Aspie's in. I mean, he's kind of caught now, and he's just trying to get rid of all of this utility going onto the wall, but eventually that will go down, and this is exactly where they want him. Oh, they've reinforced hatch, and they're going to bring the Habana to open up the hatch below them, and then fire in the Capital vault. He has to go for it, just have to wait for him. Aspie, and they made it so he can't drop either. Just the 2 pellets, and he's going to get burned. Genius, absolutely genius.
This team synergy is incredible. Genuinely, that mini play there. And what does it do, Demo? Once again, it sets them up in a 5v4. And executing in a 5v4 is so much easier than obviously a 5 versus 5. It's absolutely genius from them. That's a common position. Aspie can't do anything about that, I'll be honest. SSG have just said, right, it's your turn. You're dying.
Reeps is going out. I can already tell Reeps will be on that window as soon as you say go, because he's just primed and ready for it. And there hasn't really been much window pressure from SSG. A lot of it just coming in from that lobby, but they get their kill. That was the main thing. They wanted just to get their kill.
Yep, Fultz found another one. Side's tried to take a peek out with that ACOG, and Fultz has found that as well. And SSG just been patient, but they're now going to be able to execute in a 5 versus 3 demo.
You would expect now for SSG, they can just play the window game. Again, all that pressure just mounting under Bleed and just crumbling at the seams. They can't do anything against this extremely proficient SSG side on Bank. Flawless round for them. 5-0. Boy, oh boy.
Can't work out if I'm enjoying SSG or not.
I am.
I'll be honest, I'm loving this map.
Love the way they're attacking.
It's like...
Love it.
I just, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe bad. Yeah, I don't know. This has been excellent. And I think we can point to, specifically in the last 2 rounds, specific moments of team synergy that has just won the round because of pure excellence. Pure excellence on the side of SSG. And that doesn't matter whether they're playing against Bleed, Furia, or a ranked stack. They were winning it. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Really doesn't matter. And the chat's coming back out. And SSG and the pendulum's swinging. The chat's coming out from...
More protein, the better. Gym bros want the protein.
I was in the gym with them this morning. They had a whole circuit going on where everyone was doing, they were doing Bulgarian split squats. They were doing this thing where they were sitting down and jumping into a squat and chest press and all that stuff. And they were all walking around in the vests and being very, very masculine is all I'm going to say. And do you know what? And I said it right at the start, it does build into a brotherhood. You know, you can laugh at it, you can make jokes, you can make references to it all you want. It
The
does
6 a.m.
build
late jumps was a good one, I think, from...
Yeah.
When was it? Atlanta?
Atlanta, that one, yeah.
It's a funny one.
Yeah. They even got Allo in on it. Of course, the new analyst for
Allo,
SSG.
who, if you don't know, Allo started his career back in, I know he was part of like the Spanish Nationals because he is Spanish, and we've seen his really breakout performance on the Navi roster back in 2021.
And he was on GK as well.
He was on GK as well. We've seen him move over there, and he has since then left GK and have joined SSG as their assistant coach.
Yep. Is it assistant coach? I've just called him an analyst. I'm so sorry,
Well,
Allo.
look, we don't like to use the term analyst. They're coaches. They're all coaches. Analyst is
be
just
proud of being an analyst.
no, assistant coach sounds better. Because if the coach isn't there, then you get the job. Look at Malta. Titan was standing behind them because Romali wasn't there. You have to step in, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you what, Forrest has done great work on the Twitch side. We see it all the time. I'll be honest, right? We see this mini-game on this site specifically of Twitch and Goyo all of the time, but that doesn't detract from the fact that Forrest has done great work there. Got rid of 3 of the Goyo canisters. I don't know where the 4th one was, but I think he's still got his drone as well. Yeah, he does. It's just on the countertop there. The 4th one, I don't think is being used for the execute. I think it's probably main stairs side. He's going to get the default cam for good measure as well. Great work from Forrest there. I know that there'll still be the roam clear to come in and the execute to come in, but when the execute comes in, he's given his team a good opportunity.
I wouldn't be surprised if Forrest just tries to slip in the site. Yeah. It's something that I can see him maybe try and make that play. Because again, I suppose you're 5-0 up. You can afford a round if you want to try and make the play. That,
yeah,
I mean, it could secure you the 6-0. He will go for a smoke, and looks as though players are starting to come back though. So maybe he can't really go for it. But then again, if the players have been rooted out from the open area hole, this should again just be a bit of a bread and butter push now from SSG, where they know exactly what they want to do and can just run through the motions.
And the thing is, because this has been an open area hold, the hatches are pre-opened for SSG. They're pre-opened for SSG. They're not going to have to open them.
Turret's free. Capcan traps in the pocket there.
Yeah,
What's
it's got to be.
What's he cooking up?
Is he putting them on site late? Like, what's going on there?
I don't know. When are you going to get a chance to put them anywhere now? Everything's open.
You can only assume he's had to go and get like a hatch late or something that was more critical than putting down those.
He's missed something, but
yeah. Siege is a utility game with some FPS in it, and yeah, that's a big issue.
Oh, and down he goes. Doesn't even get a chance to use them as Ashen is tearing his way in through Gary. Just a strong position if you can get an attacker in that area. Iconic catches Hoven, just plays passive. SSG, a demolition job if I've ever seen one against Bleed right now. A 2v5, again, another 2v5 that Bleed have to go up against. Great drone work in that late game for SSG. Should secure them the round. They know the positions. Reaps opens up onto one, but Mentalist has just appeared, jumping in for a double window. He's got around the back of them now, but no, looks the wrong way. Forrest is right beside him, he has no idea. And that's going to be a flawless half from SSG, a 6-0 sweep.
Perfect. Pretty much. Honestly, pretty much perfect. I think round 1, bit dodgy. But rounds 2 to 6, absolutely perfect. They read into everything Bleed were doing. They punished everything Bleed were doing. Timeout from Julia, didn't matter.
Nope.
In fact, SSG looked better after the timeout. 6-0, and you know, I'd put a lot on the fact that this is probably going to be a 7-0. I am 100% certain we're going to see a map 3.
Do we want to make a bet? You dye the hair? Dye the hair, maybe?
No.
It's quite an easy. Come on, 6-0. Come on, 6-0. It's quite easy. Come on, make the bet. Make the bet for the hair. Come on.
Mentalist, nah, Permaban Bank is on the way.
He's ignoring me. He's ignoring me. He doesn't want to
I don't want to dye my hair. Do you know what, Demo? I'm going grey, but you're going grey as well.
I'm not going grey. Can we stop this conspiracy theory?
You are going grey. No, but, I mean, we're almost certain to see a map 3, which is... I'll be honest.
It's Cafe as well, and it's just going to be.
This series deserves a map 3.
I mean, yeah, but it's Cafe.
The Boss G Sport.
Cafe with these two. Are you kidding me?
Anyway, we've got to get there. We've got a round to go. Potentially, maybe another 6, maybe another 9 if we go to overtime somehow. But yeah, we've got this round to play out. So let's talk about it. We've got basement from SSG. Looks like there might be some kind of roam based on the fact they're reinforcing the top floor. The site hatch, specifically in the open area hatch, are soft at the minute. Whether they will be reinforced or not, I do not know. And for Bleed, they're playing the Blitz and the Ying. So you're expecting maybe something fast, something aggressive. As you can see, Reeves is already in open area. He's already there.
Like you mentioned,
I
hatches
don't think the
as
open
well.
area open's going to happen.
The hatches are soft as well, so this is very easy for Reaps, and they've got, as we can see, SSG have 2 reinforcements still left in the pocket, so it begs the question, what on earth were they doing? And they're going to get punished for it. Iconic just runs through, expecting that hatch should be reinforced, but no, somebody didn't do their setup. I have no words.
No. I don't want to call it a show match, but that's the type of thing that would happen in a show
Somebody straight up to the reinforcements. I don't know what to say.
SSG bring with them like 56 pages of strats as well.
I've seen them whenever they're eating their lunch, and it's like
they no excuse.
best-selling novel. It looked like in the chapters.
Get the war zone to
chapters.
get the SSG strat.
My word.
Anyway, cool. That's good. This is the first time in what feels like forever that Bleed have got a 5 versus 4. Ashen is going to sit there with Warden shotgun and multiple Goyo canisters. If Ted's good here, he'll be able to pop it, and he knows he's got to play bottom stairs. And now they can execute into the bottom stairs and punish him, potentially.
Oh, here comes the blitz.
Yeah.
Activating
Oh, C4 though from Ashen. Asfi takes a lot of damage. The shotgun is enough to down the blitz. But Ashen is worried about everyone else who could be coming in, and oh no, Bleed, this is just falling apart right in front of us. This blue take is causing so many issues. Ashen with another takes out Mentalist. Hungry for more RE? Yes, we are! A triple for Ashen. Oh, and it's poor, lonely little turd all by himself in the garage. Can he salvage anything for his side? A 1v4 he has to go up against. Guns pointed every direction. Oh no, misses a chance at a free kill. Now they know exactly where he is. Everyone from SSG can rotate and just wait for him to wander into the sightlines, and that's what happens. SSG, unbelievable performance from Bank at 7-0. Is that the first 7-0 of the tournament?
It is in fact the first 7-0 of the
Is that
tournament.
bingo? Is that on your bingo?
That is on the bingo
There we
card
go.
demo, yeah.
We got the bingo.
we had a bingo, and SSG, they're not going to care about that. Nope. All they're going to care about is by going to map 3. And I think impressive performance, particularly on their attacks, particularly the team synergy. We see there Ashen, he's got the toilet paper out. SSG have got that confidence back. That was a huge map for them, and I think they absolutely needed that. Bleed are obviously going to sit and digest that and think about it. Maybe they're having a little chat based on what's going on now.
I think you just go next if you're Bleed. Just
it is.
Go next.
Seriously, it's GG.
You treat this now as a best of one. Because that's kind of what it is. That's just whoever wins Cafe wins. Doesn't matter about the other 2 maps.
I tell you what, I'm glad we've got 3 maps, because these 2 teams have been some of the most entertaining Siege I've seen in a long time. The good, the bad, and the ugly, I think we've seen.
Honestly, and then we go to Cafe, which is just, what do you say about that map? We said, remember, we kind of seen the Cafe in the picks. That's just going to be absolute mayhem and chaos, and both of the sides we know can play such an aggressive side of Siege, which you kind of need to have if you want to go to Cafe. Look, the stats. Always, it's got to be dominant to the team that get the 7-0, and yeah, you know, just not enough kills coming out from the side of Bleed.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is the teamwork for SSG was just way too good. Didn't allow Bleed to have that individual impact that we saw in Clubhouse from those players, from Reaps, from Tad. Just wasn't allowed inside of Bank. I think we see why SSG have picked into Bank 2 days in a row. They absolutely love that goddamn map. They're not playing that for the rest of the tournament. I think it's probably pretty safe to say. And yeah, you know, Ashen, he came alive. Fultz carried on having another great series there, by the way, as well.
Yeah, good day for Fultz, but again, the series isn't over. It's 1 map apiece. We have 1 map remaining to see who will qualify into Phase 2 to join the other juggernauts of our Rainbow Six Siege scene. But we have a break, so we'll be back after these short messages. Welcome back, everyone. Short break we had, and we're ready to dive back into our series between Bleed and Spacestation Gaming. Bank was a one-sided affair, Jack, with a 7-0, the first of the competition.
Yep. It was very much the first of the competition. I think, had the very first kill of the whole map gone the other way, if Turd flanks as the Oryx and gets that kill, we might be in for a completely different story.
That's a big statement.
We might have been, because it's about the mentals. You know, I'm loving the psychology. As it was, SSG produced a masterclass. Probably one of the best banks I've seen in a long time on an attacking front. It was absolutely incredible. And now we're going to go all the way to a map free of Cafe.
Yeah, we move from Clubhouse to Bank, and now to Cafe, which is as far to the other end of the spectrum as you can get, considering what we've just had, where obviously you look at Clubhouse, you look at Bank, the utility dump is something that we mentioned before, whereas Cafe, it's the windows, it's the window dump.
Yeah, you don't normally see many like predetermined executes. It doesn't come down to that late round plan, utility dump, execute. Doesn't happen on Cafe. It's a lot about... It is about individuality. It's about kills, yeah. And it's about clearing areas in the early round that win you the round or not. If you get stuck on them, you know, think of Piano if his army's open, for example, the top floor for the middle floor sites, or even the top 2 floors for the basement bomb site, or Bakery if you're going to do a horizontal attack. So there's a lot about area clear in the early round. If you get that, then you have a good chance, but it's not about that late round.
Yeah, and I think right now, from what we've seen from both of these sides, Bleed refused to give up sometimes, so we've seen that on Clubhouse, but SSG, that looks as though that break that they had between map 1 and 2 done them justice. Now, you just hope that Bleed would have something of the same. We don't want to see a stump. We want to see this go to the OT. We want to see this be an absolute firework display.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. You know, as a neutral, you want to see everything. As we're going to load into Cafe right now. Now, one thing that I do want to start on, just before we get into bans, Bleed are starting on the defense. Now, Cafe is known as a very hard map to attack. So that is a factor, because we are now we've had both teams win their map pick. We are now in essentially a best of 1 territory, and in best of 1, starting side does matter more, because this is the only map, no more. Whoever wins this map goes through and goes on to phase 2. Whoever loses this map very likely will play G2 in a best of 3 on the 3rd game of today. They're going to have to sit around for 3-4 hours, wait around, see what happens, and then play another best of 3. This map is so important, and Bleed have got defense starting side. But SSG have got the momentum.
SSG have got the all chat as well at the moment.
Yeah, it's back. It was notably absent on Clubhouse.
It was, as soon as we got onto that defensive half for Bleed, all of a sudden Ashen just closed that mouth for hits, didn't he? But we're back at it again. Look, I think the first round in a game like this, where it's that mental warfare, is huge for both of these sides.
Oh.
Check Twitter after the game. You're cooked.
Ooh. Giving it as good as he's getting, then.
I'm looking. Honestly, whoever wins, whoever loses, it'll be so interesting to see what the tweets is going to be.
Oh my god! Third time in a row. Wow.
These are mental.
Well, interesting things about the bans. Not so much the defender bans at all, to be honest, because it was what, as Army Fenrir.
Yep.
Attacker bans, Grim and Ying. Execute, or I suppose ground taking operators, not necessarily late round execute, but you know, ground taking operators. But what's that leave open that we've not seen? Shields. Don't know why I've just done a big
shield. Tom J. Sherlock, I told
Shields.
you, rubbing off on you, because again, that's what he does. And look, I think you make a great point about the shields. Blitz and Monty, obviously. I mean, Monty more so, because I think Blitz was open during the last map.
Yes.
Monty's been banned twice. Monty, in my opinion, is just S tier. Just the ground you can take, especially on a map that we've just said is very difficult to gain control on. Monty's going to help you out with that a lot. Yeah. You think about basement, or I always say basement, but it's just first floor. But it feels weird, because it plays out like that. Yeah. You know, him being able to take control of Bakery so quickly, restaurant VIP side again so quickly, I think it really helps the speed in which you can control the map.
So we're going to see top floor as the starting site, and I know you're not casting with Tim today, but he hates the top floor. He doesn't think it's the best one site in Cafe. I'm actually inclined to agree, and I actually think the stats do back that up as well.
If Mira's up, I think you go for it.
Yeah,
without the Mira, I think it's so difficult to hold this.
Cade. You've also got the castle, and the reason that you kind of want to, I suppose the reason that you would want to play downstairs, which we've seen a little bit of a downstairs setup inside of Reading, is so that you can protect basically the vertical onto the mirror windows as well.
And also C4s are a big thing. You know, Cafe heavily destructible in terms of the flooring that we have towards that top floor. There's only a few places that you can actually sit that is safe. Like the majority of piano, for example, is even whenever someone walks in through that main breach top red in towards the minibar, you can get C4 from that. You know, there's a lot of dangerous positions that attackers, you know, you're really playing with fire, just hoping that you don't get blown up. So yeah, controlling that mid floor, very important for both sides, as we know. But as expected, we're going to see just the generic window play. Nobody's died in the attackers, which is always one thing we have to watch out for, is the odd spawn peek that certainly can happen. And, well, between those two teams, I wouldn't be surprised if the spawn peeks are going to come in thick and fast.
Yeah, Forrest just put some gridlocks down on the restaurant window there, which is a little bit of a strange one. Just to avoid the jump out because he wants to play on this cocktail window here. It makes the jump out much more annoying to actually do off that restaurant window. Of course, not impossible because you can shoot the gridlocks, but much more annoying and would give him an indicator it's happening, of course.
Yeah, shots on Asfi. Can't really do a whole lot now because both of the jump outs is going to be locked down by that gridlock. Reaps. Don't do it.
Oh, wait. He has a mirror window in pocket. They didn't reinforce the cocktail wall. No reinforcement, no mirror window.
It's
and he's
alive. He's alive, and Asfi's been able to pick up Forrest. How did Asfi pick up Forrest?
He went out.
He jumped out
Shot
anyway.
them.
Oh my word!
Took a bit of damage, went out.
The fact that Forrest, set up all those gridlocks, took the time out of his way to play the gridlock and still get killed is...
Play Nomad, buddy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And you get the ARX. Yeah. I don't think Ashen knows about Hover. Does he know?
It's a weird round so far because, again, SSG, again, that stall out factor I keep mentioning, there's not a lot happening. This is just timing right now for both of these sides.
Hover's still got the mirror window in pocket. Is he putting it down now, I think? Maybe? Yeah, he is. They finally reinforced it. No way. So they now have the cocktail mirror window, and he's, yep, I've got my mirror window down. That's me done for the round, boys. I'm out.
I'm out the window, honestly. Ashen maybe thinking about a repel under the nade, perhaps, but no, thinks against it at the moment. Just going to try and wait. Jane has got himself up in towards the white stairs, and all of a sudden, kills come in for SSG. Jane leading the charge, and finds them all. Fultz was able to pick up the final kill, it looks like. There we go, onto the Cade. SSG out of nowhere.
That was a crazy round of Rainbow Six Siege. That was honestly a crazy round. And it was all kind of linchpinned around this East attack that SSG wanted to do. But they found it way too hard to do it. But then obviously, Bleed had a mishap with their site setup. They had utility in hand, the mirror windows. And by the time they, SSG had stopped applying that pressure, Bleed thought, great, we'll get the reinforcement, we'll get the mirror window down. SSG had rotated and flooded in through. One of the weirder rounds of Rainbow Six I've ever seen, I've got to be honest there.
Well, where do we end up now? As obviously the top floor is always an interesting one to see how that plays out. It's been won by the attackers, and it's always that debate, do you go back again? Not for Bleed. I mean, if Bank's anything to tell us, they don't want to kind of hang around the areas that they already lost in, so straight away into a new bomb site, down into the kitchen is where we head. Generically, whenever you look at your kitchen bomb site, you've got your two avenues of approach. You've got your bakery takes, and you've got your VIP restaurant takes.
Yep. Which one's better, in your opinion?
I think with the Monty, I think VIP is better.
Attacker's objective is
no Monty on side, though.
It's true, but Monty up, I just think you take the Monty, you get VIP extremely quick.
I like the VIP takes, I'll be honest. I do like them, I think, because you can take a lot of ground, and you can really pin the defenders into sight because there's no rotation options as soon as you take a VIP. They can only play bakery, basically.
Has Forrest just misdroned Turd underneath the double window? Turd just here, just waiting, and I mean...
He's got the patience.
If he, look, we've seen it before already in the Clubhouse. He will wait for his kill. He will get his man. But the question is, if just one drone comes in, he's going to be found out. As I say that, he's now moved from that position. Maybe he was expecting some form of a rush. Blitz is up. We could have seen Forrest just jump in through the window and try and take long bar. It happens quite a few times as well. See Reaps now getting pushed out by the Demos, so of course it's going to be great at hunting those roamers, and it seems to be anytime there's a Solus, there's always going to be a Demos chasing after the Solus. That's the #1 target.
Do you know what? It's the perfect counter, because you're never going to ban Demos ever either. So it's a good counter to the Solus. Now, obviously, Bleed, they've wasted a minute here, and it's worth saying that the Demos is also playing shotgun as well. So I think SSG might now look to get onto the middle floor, get that vertical done. They've got the Ram, they've got Demos shotgun, Jackal shotgun, who can make vertical as well. So they've got enough verticality on the side. So it looks, I would say, conventional, default from SSG to do a full clear. The problems that you run into when you do a full clear is very often time, because you're often left dropping the hatch, dropping the freezer hatch, trying to plant freezer, because if you do a full clear, you end up navigating into dining, as we see Ashen in there now, and then dropping the hatch and trying to plant. And it comes down to time, and the Goyo canisters could well stop this. The Legion mines could well stop this on the side of Bleed. And it feels like, in a way, we're kind of back on Clubhouse, where Bleed are happy to let SSG just do all the work and then punish them when they go for the execute.
No picks have been found yet by SSG, which is, usually at this stage you would want at least one kill being found, maybe from the vertical angles, but Bleed playing very, very safe, not wanting to give away anything to SSG. We can see a great drone here from Foz. We'll spot out Hoven in towards the long bar, and Asphy just straight on the main door, hoping somebody will run around the corner, but as we can see, no one from SSG is going to be stationed outside. 4 players still on that mid floor, and that IQ slowly making some ground down the white stairs. Foz just waiting for them. A double flank was attempted there by Bleed, but SSG, they get the better of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You need to be punishing that if you're Bleed, basically. If you're going to do a double flank, you need to punish it. But here we go. Here's the execute coming in, and they're going to have to force the way down the freezer stairs. Iconic picks up the first kill onto Ted, forcing it through light. Picks up a second from Iconic, sees that there's one in coach check and forces his way into sight now. However, Reaps, does he get that? Does he get the kill? No, he doesn't. Iconic finds the third. That's going to be the fourth. That's going to be SSG with a round.
Oh, that is cold as you like it from Iconic. Just leads his team right through the heart of the bomb site. And Iconic, should we talk about him?
Let's talk about him.
Look, didn't have the greatest of time on M80. It has to be said. It didn't really work out. I mean, just M80 in general. We've seen the reconstruction job that they done, you know, after Invitational. And Iconic has made it way back to his former team, more or less, former players, former coach that he teamed with all the way back at SI23 with that Stralis team that had that great run through the lower bracket. And with Iconic, look, didn't have the greatest of Clubhouse today. I think 1-10 he finished. And I think, obviously, throughout the year for Iconic, didn't have the greatest of time in terms of the stats as well. He didn't really have the stats to back up, you know, how good of a player he is.
I think for him as a player, he needs a little bit of freedom. And I think in that M80 system, he was obviously IGLing. He was quite restricted.
He looked like more of a flex support player to me, the way he was being played, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and we've seen him have so many moments. Like, there was a whole kind of, I would say, probably a year when he was, you know, back in the day on the Astralis side, maybe longer than a year, 2020.
I mean, it was that Charlotte final, wasn't it, where he really made it. I mean, he has a spot named after him. You know, that's that. You don't.
Very few people get.
You
a spot,
don't get that unless you are good. You don't.
And I honestly think M80 probably took his confidence out of him, because he looks a lot less confident when he's walking around the place. And, you know, we're obviously lucky when we come to these LAN events. We get to see them off camera, off game, out of game a lot. But yeah, hopefully he can find that old swag back. He's made a huge play there as well. You know, basically, I think, but for that play, I don't know if SSG win that.
Yeah, because you need somebody to do something. With 30 seconds on the clock, everyone from SSG were just sitting, waiting, just, what do I do, what do I do? And Iconic's like, stand back, boys. I'll do it.
He's literally walked
and then he goes.
Killed the player in VIP, killed the player alone bar, and then
straight into the site, covers the plant. Oh, yeah, everything he could have done. So we'll see how Iconic wants to continue on it in this game. Already a good start for him, and see how he goes on throughout the rest of the competition, of course.
Asphy is on the Capcan, and unlike Ted, he has placed all of his Capcan.
Yes, Asphy, come on!
We're already one better, but Ted on the
Pocket
Valkyrie.
Belt Cam! Pocket Belt Cam, what are you doing? Mentalist, Pocket Mute Tower, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Drive-by from the Twitch there, got the mirror window.
Yep. Yeah, Hoven's taking some
Hoven
damage
is not there, buddy.
Yep, no. So this is the third site as well for Bleed as well, isn't it? It's the third site.
Another rotation.
Gone off, another full rotation. You go over this, if they lose this, we might see a repeat. You know, this happened on Bank. They lost all 3 sites, and then Julia had a timeout. But yeah, a long way to go to get there, of course.
No kills as of yet, but I think they'll be coming in very soon, as of course there is players upstairs holding on to that top floor. You want to try and deny access to those attackers, gaining control of all that vertical action that you have with this site. You know, raiding can be entirely opened up from above. It just means that you can't play on a site, which is very difficult in this game of Siege. C4s as well being ripped ready to see if they can find some kills. And there hasn't really been too many C4 kills so far from what we've seen from the defense, which is a little bit surprising considering that this is, you know, one of those heavy C4 maps.
Yep, still waiting for that Pocket Belt Cam to come out to try and navigate a C4, but yeah, we're not going to see it just yet. SSG still have top floor control, but It's going to come down to a late execute once again. There's only 40 seconds left. We're in a 5v5 situation then.
I mean, SSG are just cutting it really, really close today. I don't know what it is about them. See, the Goyo canister has been popped on the site door, so they can just go for the default plan. That should be no issues for them, but they need to make sure that they can stop anyone wanting to rotate above, anyone wanting to rotate in through pillars. Hoven, I don't know how he's alive. Ashen has let him cross though, but I still think it's okay because he just flashed him out and just hold on to that white corner. In comes the default plant from Fultz, and as long as SSG can try and hold on to those flanks, but Mentalist has caught force with the C4. That means nobody's going to be covering the flank, but no, Turd's been down. Fultz has had to go massive, misses the shots. Will try and stick the diffuser, surely has to go for it, but no, he pitches for the kill by Iconic is there with a huge refrag.
He's having another great round there from Iconic. That was a huge, genuinely, like you say, huge refrag. I think SSG took a lot of time in that round. They did a full clear, but they set up everything perfectly. It kind of reminded me of, in a European style of Virtus Pro. Like, you know what's coming. It's so scripted, but you can't do anything about it. What Bleed did try and do is they tried to double flank up Brownstairs, but that got shut down. And that was basically the only thing that they could have done, you know, in terms of the options they had. Everything was covered off, and SSG once again have had, you know, when you set up an attack and you go, right, we want to plant here, what do we need? We need vertical. Okay, what do we need for vertical? Well, we need all of the flanks covered. Okay, cool. How can they then flank us? What can they then do? All right, they can place Saddle Laundry. Right, vertical on there, vertical on the hallway. Cover the Brownstairs flank because they can see fall just from the Brownstairs. Everything. Tick, 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 tick. Perfect attack, even if it did come very close.
Bleed have not won a round of Siege in 10 rounds. Double digits now we're dealing with.
Yep.
It carries on, and it's a massive issue. Again, deja vu, where look at Bank, exactly the same scenario. They tried all of the different bomb sites. They lost every single one. A timeout has happened for Julio.
Yep.
Didn't help them last time.
Nope. And I believe Ashen was writing to Turd. You know, we are watching what the players are writing to each other. As that timeout was going in, Ashen was writing, saying, Turd, it's time to make a hero play.
Time for hero plays.
What's he on? We've got to assume he's on the bus tree, of course.
I can't wait.
He's currently using the
what
SMG.
did we say? Julio's going to call a timeout. Get warmed up. You're coming on at half-time. You're coming on.
You're in.
That's like 2 different players.
It really is. Well, if he does something.
You've got Solus Turd, and then you've got the Boss G Turd.
Oh, you could have done better with that. You've got the Turd, and you've got the Boss G.
I don't think we need to explain to the observers who we need to watch this round, because this is a storyline. This is it. It's just this guy with the shotgun.
He's doing a lot of drone hunting. It seems to think there's one inside of the Christmas tree. I don't know if there is.
So it's only May, mate. There's no presents there yet. I think this is.
We've basically determined that the other players in this lobby are irrelevant. And that it's all the win condition is whether one guy can pop off with the worst gun in the game. Not the worst gun in the game, but a difficult gun to use in the game.
Well, we've got the shield that we said we wanted. We want to see the Monty, so it's going to be a bakery take just based on where Iconic is currently being positioned outside of the double door.
Yeah.
And again, Monty, very, very strong in terms of just taking those frontal engagements. There's going to be no positions really that you can flank the Monty from on a bakery take, so he should be very, very safe right now and can just call out all of the information to his side, spot out targets, utility as well, but also, because of the shield change, can go aggro. That's the big thing about Monty, is he's not just this slow beast anymore. He can just come alive in an instant.
Hoven's managed to pick up the first kill onto Forest. That's going to be the ace off the board. The breaching situation, but the Monty does manage to find the kill onto Mentalist. Tanks that impact because, of course, he is very tanky now, is the Monty, because of the impact nerf. So it's a 4 versus 4 with a Monty who's pretty lit. But Ashen now makes that a 4 versus 3, which when you've got a Monty and a man advantage, that is the position that you want to be in, because you can get a Monty in the face of somebody, and Ted will use the Boss G, but the Monty will win it out.
Iconic storming through the site again, and this is just going to be a clean sweep once more for SSG.
Yeah.
Reaps off the site by himself. He is the Solus, can maybe try and find the diffuser, but no hope in that one. Ashen kills them on the reverse angle.
I didn't see during the round where Reaps was, but based on the end of round position, where do we assume Reaps has been that whole round? Upstairs. Why on God's green earth has he not pre-made Vert into prep to help his teammates? Why? Because that would be a really basic thing to do. Then Ted can play more secure. The guys inside of, the little bunker where the bomb chassis is inside of Kitchen can play safer because Bakery would have been under the control of Reaps.
Do you know what I find funny? You made a reference saying that the way SSG are playing is like Virtus Pro.
Yeah.
Blade have just put in the chat, you guys missed it, they said, did you watch how VP played? That's what they put in there. Do you watch VP match?
Incredible.
How's that happened?
I know ball demo.
I know ball.
Yeah,
but
no.
Like you say, it just seems inevitable from SSG. The biggest issue they had from Clubhouse is that they never looked as though they knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah, their executions were so
They
poor.
were like, do we want to go Kitchen? Do we want to go Blue? Do we want to go Mo? They had no idea. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
Bank, Bank, we kind of put it down to that's their map. That's what they're comfortable with.
And they were incredible.
Yeah. Now they're showing that it wasn't just, it's just Bank. They have got their heads screwed on. They know exactly what they want to do. They're not messing around on the other side of the map trying to control everything. They're going straight to the point. We're taking Bakery, and that's it. That's all we need.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. And just play for each other. It is mad how simple a game Rainbow Six is, and how often teams try and overcomplicate it. But you keep it simple. You make sure that every player on the team is adhering to the same plan and is astute, and that plan is astute as well. And you have the team play, and you'll be surprised how easy the game gets. Ted's back on the boss G. Looks like Ashen's close by. I don't know if he knows this because he's sitting cams as well. So Ashen's maybe going to try a little lurk up White Side. Normally teams have something for this. There's no Fenrir, there's no barbed wire. There may be a lesion trap, but Ashen feels like he might be able to find a gap here.
Time will tell to see how he wants to play on that lurk, but again, with what we've seen from SSG, they're going to play slow. They're not that fast team that maybe we were expecting come into this competition. They've taken a much more different approach, which I think actually works out quite well. A lot of the prep work that teams would have done for SG would have been, okay, here's the rush A, B, and C. This is what they like to bring. But whenever it's a slow siege that maybe they're not used to, this is where you can catch out your opponent. Turd takes a lot of damage from Ashen, but didn't get the kill from it. However, Reaps is off the board. Yeah. Another opening kill for SSG, who have just dominated that stat line.
And that's the thing, right? Ashen can now dip out of that, doesn't need to play White Stairs, can now go and help the team, play the Nomad, hold the flanks, whatever it may be.
Free air jab still.
And he's still got free air jabs, can now add value to the team after finding the opening. He's now got himself on a different angle. But yeah, I am so surprised strategically that for a mid-floor bomb site, Bleed have not put anything for White Stairs, because that's just cost them a man advantage. And I'll be honest, I haven't tracked the stats for this. I don't think they've won a round today where they had a 4v5. No. Maybe apart from that one on Clubhouse where they won like a 2v5.
Yeah.
But apart from that, like, no.
Asfi very close to the window, will go for the jump up, but Hoven beats him to it with a C4. And Asfi will be able to get back into the building and not take a lick of damage from it as well. 50 seconds, Hoven gone though was Fultz. Was able to pick him up as he was trying to track back in through pillars. So again, still this advantage in favor of SSG, but that time jack is just slowly ticking away once again.
It's once again setting up the win conditions though. Clear the players out of reading. What do we need to do in terms of with a plan? Well, we need to clear the mid floor. We need to play as much vertical as possible. We don't want them playing reading. We don't want them playing pillars. We want to kind of hem them into dining side particularly, and then we can execute into train here as it looks like where Fultz is going to be. If they get the win conditions right, then they will achieve the execute as we see Fultz going in.
Gumine did just slow his approach down, but has now safely got himself tucked in towards mining. Iconic with a massive kill to Ashby, and there's the cover from the window, and it's all down to Turn. SMG in hand. Not a hope against Ashen. I'm just waiting for the old chat now to come in. Another round for SSG. That is 12 in a row. Suppose it's more. Bleed, you've lost 12 in a row. Bleed, you have lost 12 in a row. So SSG went 12 in a row. Like,
That's bleeding shit.
Oh.
Oh dear, man. Oh dear. This is. I don't know what you can do.
I wasn't expecting this.
Julio's. He's used the timeout twice now.
He's done nothing.
And we was rating. I was rating his timeout in
Clubhouse.
map 1 in Clubhouse. Because he turned it all the way back around. And it's now 7 rounds in a row on bank 5. And by the way, expectations once again flipped. Once again flipped. We said Cafe's defender sided. We said it's hard to attack, and SSG have gone 5-0. But they've just been that good, Demo. That's the thing. They've just been that good with the team play, with the synergy, and with their overall plan. They've not got anything wrong.
Like I said, it's just... Today has been incredible from a standpoint of someone who has watched SSG probably for the past year.
Yes.
Not a single rush. And that's what that team was known for a long time, was those quick, aggressive plays.
Yeah.
That just hasn't happened today. I think it just shows that they've now got another string to their bow, another side that they can play. They can play the two styles. We know they can still probably rush if they want to, but it's this slow, methodical style that we just did not expect, but they're doing it. Like you said, you compared them to VP, and they're known as one of those sides that, you know, they made that kind of meta, didn't they? They made that play style.
They did. Now, we're into the round. Reap still has a go canister. He did have two. He's just put one down. And Tuz still has a Capcan trap. So once again, we're not exactly praising the utility side on the side of Bleed. I'm not really sure what's going on there. In terms of the lineup, we've got Forest on the Amaru. So what I'm kind of wondering here is, are we going to see something into the cocktail side? I don't really know where he is at the minute. I'm wondering if we're going to see something fast into the east side of the building. As the round comes in. We've got a lot of repelling going on. We've got Ashen on the Nomad covering off those flanks. Obviously, we saw it in the very first round. The flanks were, you know, I think it was Hoven that jumped out of the restaurant window there.
Welcome, everyone from the A-Stream who is now joining us, as we know that the A-Stream is finished. If you don't want to hear spoilers in the B-Stream, just mute the stream now, I'm going to tell you. Liquid are through into Phase 2. No surprises there. I mean, it's Liquid going in, of course.
I am shocked
that was going to happen. But here we are on the B-Stream, as you can see, SSG versus Bleed. First map win in favor of Bleed 7-5, a 7-0 for SSG on Bank. And now, SSG set 5-0, 12 rounds in a row. It may be the unlucky 13 for SSG as well, as once again, Bleed just not in it. The kills are always in favor of SSG, just nobody on the board right now, nobody stepping up for Bleed.
Yep, it's all up to Turd in the 1 versus 4, should I say. And he's been here the whole round. I'm not sure what's happened. He's just allowed his teammates to die around him. Forrest is going to drone the site, SSG are going to drone the site, and it's all going to be up to Turd, who's sitting under the skylight and has remained static under the skylight the whole round. Hasn't moved.
This is the hero. Here he is.
No, surely not. No.
Just
no. Bro. Like,
it sums up the game. Just that's it.
He also didn't put down his Capcan traps again. Does he like the gun? Like,
I don't know. Look,
he's getting rinsed in all chat. I will be saying, like, SSG are rinsing him in all chat as well.
When have we ever seen like back-to-back 7-0s?
No, I don't think so.
In the history of Siege,
I think it. I see. This comes up every tournament, I think. And I remember Pengu saying that I think G2 did it, but not when it was 7. It might have been when they were Penta. 6, 5, something against.
It was, yeah.
I wanted to, it was like Barrage Esports or something like that. I don't think we've ever seen it in the kind of current era of Siege that we would see back-to-back 7
for the same team as well. Not just like, oh, they won 7-0 and then the other team won 7-0. It's
like the same team, 14 rounds
14 in a row.
Because we've got 13, which might be a new record. I don't know that, to be honest. But, yeah. I'm not sure.
Well, here we go. Potentially the final round of the series to secure SSG into Phase 2 and knock Bleed down into that lower bracket. It could be upon us.
I'll tell you what, Demo. We did say very early in this broadcast, very early in this game, Bleed do not know when they're beat. If ever there was a time, well, it has to be now.
It might be the best comeback of the century. Honestly, it might be the best thing. SI was great. I think if they do this, that tops the cake. There's no way. Coming back after losing 13 rounds, oh boy. Iconic with a spawn peak. A Mentalist mudded.
Yeah, it's not happening, is it? Already starting around 4 versus 5, and I think we know how this game's going. I think Bleed are going to get very erratic here to try and pull it back, but it's now a 4 versus 3. Actually finds one, but gets taken back out on that blitz.
Early trades, but not in favor of Bleed. They sit now with that man deficit. Everyone from SSG are happy in their positions. I mean, no pressure coming in from Bleed. I mean, the utility just isn't really there. It's not a utility-focused lineup. You have a few nades and a few flashes, and that's really it. A couple Lion scans here and there, but again, nothing that's really going to, I would say, force SSG to do anything drastic. As long as they can play their positions and just play off the trade game, they'll win this.
Yeah, it's basically like, you know, Reeves is on this window, but he's not really causing anybody any pressure. Although Hoven might be able to find a lurk into 90, chooses against it. He's going to call first and then maybe try and lurk in. Well, no, he's going to call and run away. Okay, fair enough. Tad's on the outside window, as is Reeves. And like you say, it's very split. There's very little pressure. It's when SSG were attacking these sites and Cafe, especially on the middle floor sites, they were clearing top floor all 5 together, whereas Bleed is very split and they're
They're just desperate
Look
for
how
kills.
comfortable SSG are, though.
Yeah.
J9's just going to sit here the whole round if he has to.
It's been, what, a minute since they really got in these windows and nothing has happened. SSG haven't moved. Like, this is the first time we've seen an SSG player move, and that's Genino just rotating because the guy in the window is rotated off.
Yep.
Look at this from Hoven. Into Pillar, maybe looking to see if he can surprise somebody, but I've seen the Solus, though, try and get a little bit active, and Hoven gets flanked as Turd has allowed that initial flank to happen. Oh, Turd, a 2v4 now. That Bleed have to go against, and Forrest is still alive. Can, of course, support his team. Down goes Reeks and Turd. He was in the 1v4 the last time. No, he can. Fault Swift the 14 rounds on the bounce. 7-0 Bleed. And now to phase 2.
Absolutely incredible demo in a row, as you say. And it came from a game on SSG, to be fair, looked awful in their attacks. They're the best clubhouses that I've ever seen in the games between map 1 and 2, and he put a rocket up. Literally a space station, 14 rounds in a row. Never seen it before.
Nope.
Nope. Absolutely. Send them into phase 2. We will see them on Sunday.
Still not all done for later on this evening, where they will go of FearX against G2. We're probably expecting G2 to win that. So look, that's going to be well that we have to see. But yeah, Bleed just, like we said about SSG, needing to give their heads a bit of a wobble. Get new heads.
Yeah, maybe. Like, they'll come back. We know that that's Bleed's character. See there on the player cams as well. The two teams have talked. A lot of trash talk has happened in this game, probably the most we've seen in a while. But of course, that's inside the server. Once they're done out, friends again.
188 EPS. 23!
Let's focus on Iconic, because I'll be honest, if we get going, we're not going to stop demo. Iconic's had an excellent game. Individual on SSG has had moments. Faults in map 1 kept them in it.
Still didn't win.
Ash in map 2 and map 3 had a great game. Single-handedly today. In today, J9's been, I would say, okay, consistent. Overall, map 1 aside, SSG.
You can't go wrong, you know.
Even including map 1.
Been done, it's unheard of, so all credit to them. Really have to go back to the drawing board and think about what they want to do. You know, like we mentioned about Iconic before, you know, these plays stepping up for a side where, again, SSG with this new you need somebody stepping up, you need somebody. We're taking too long now, we need to do something, somebody needs to do something.
I've gone from thinking maybe SSG aren't the real deal. Like at the start of today, I was like, SSG are the real deal. Blip yesterday. Then they have map 1. I'm like, they're not the real deal. And then they come back, bang, bang, 7-0, 7-0, real deal. Very, very impressed.
Yeah,
very impressed.
Look, whenever you think about SSG now going into phase 2, again, it's that step up of competition. You know, they went from the Mexicans into APAC, and now they're going to be probably up against, you know, some of the big dogs that they're going to have to go up against. So there is always that fear to see how SSG are going to deal under the pressure. But that's going to be us done for this series of Siege. Again, we still have more games coming up, but before we do go to break, Jack, I need you to go and run that over to Bleed, please. So
all right, I'll
you
go
go over and do that.
See you
We'll
later.
go to a break.